Hi friends, good evening, and this is your host Sandeep Khanelwal joining you from Delhi, India, and we have Nick Palapeta joining us from Raleigh, North Carolina, and we have Jimmy joining us from California. Uh, Good morning to the world, and good morning to US, and welcome to IBM TV Celeb Tuesday. And as usual, we have a lot of celebrities lined up, and post this show, we have show Chess Without Borders with Jimmy starting at 1 p.m. EST, 10 a.m. PST, and 10:30 p.m. IST. And we look forward to the show.
And Kit, tell us, who do we have on today? Who do we got joining us?
So we have Rick, who is a musician from New York. He will be joining. I'm not sure what time because he just confirmed the time. And then we have Brandon, the travel guide. He'll be joining us at around 10:45, and then Henning will join at 12.
Okay, yeah, I think I got Doug Crow, who's interested in doing the book show, coming in also about the same time. Anyway, I sent him the invites to either show up or they don't. I mean, it's kind of like that. Is Henning Morales going to be on? He usually comes on at noon. Talk about
so he'll join at noon. I think. I mean, he generally joins by that time. I didn't get the email, but he will be joining at that.
Oh, did you send him an invite?
Yeah, I already sent it.
You're way too good over there. So
generally. People don't. Now, what happens is that a lot of people, they don't confirm that they will be joining, but it's a default that they will be joining.
Oh, by the way, I have a lot of confirmations for this Wednesday, not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday show on Harvard versus ICE. The Harvard versus ICE case. In case you guys are not familiar with it, I will brief you what the ICE did, which is, by the way, the immigration crazy people. So the immigration crazy people, otherwise known as ICE, decided in their infinite wisdom that they were going to export or deport all the foreign students that are just taking online classes. The universities had to switch people to online classes, in some cases all of them, to avoid COVID-19. Okay, so what they did was they said, well, because of the COVID-19, we're going to allow you students to just take online classes. Then they changed their mind. I'm serious. In other words, in March they did it because the rule is you can't actually come here and just take online classes. You got to attend a physical class. That's the rule. Okay. Yeah. They changed the rule because of COVID-19, which was the correct thing to do. Then in July, right in the heat of the pandemic, they go, oh, we changed it back again. We want to change it back again. Okay, and if you don't, we're going to make you deport all the foreign students. Okay, so Harvard filed suit along with 200 universities and the crazies at Jim Eads' place, otherwise known as Silicon Valley. You had Microsoft, Google, and all the crazy left coasters all joined in saying, dude, you can't just do this and whipsaw back and forth and deport all these people. So it's created a firestorm among educators. We do have people from Washburn University Law School. We have your friend from Duke University. The professor's going to be here from Duke. We have the dean at Southern Illinois, perhaps the dean at University of Illinois, since we discussed it last time. And I got to get a hold of the dean at Yale. But we got a great response. I'm not inviting anymore because we're going to be full up on next Wednesday. I'm certain.
Keep me backstage so I can just chat with you.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep you backstage. But if I turn anybody off, it's because there's a limit of 10 people, including backstage. So if you get deleted, it's nothing personal. It's good that yesterday Home Stoner was saying, I'm waiting 30 minutes to get on, and I'm going like, what? I never saw him backstage, but I couldn't see him backstage.
He was on the link, actually. He was on the old link.
He was on the old link. Okay, all right. Then he wasn't, because I didn't think we hit our limit, so I think we were okay. But anyway, it's going to be a big event on Wednesday. I sent them the response by, the law firm I also contacted, Wilmer, Hill, and Pickering, which is actually a pretty good well-known law firm in Boston. Okay, so they're the ones that are the lead plaintiffs. They have quite a few what they call pro hac vice. Pro hac vice would be a guy like me. Hey, I'd like to speak before the court, but I'm not admitted in Massachusetts. It's before the Eastern District of Massachusetts, and it's going to be a great show because it's real TV. It's just like our friend that was trapped in Nigeria.
What a big topic.
It affects 213,000 students, $40 billion. And all it is, this is how law affects people's lives here. It's just a line by the Immigration Nationalization Service. Now, Sasha thinks, oh, Russia's tough. Let me tell you about the United States of America. They do stuff like this all the time. Here comes a line where ICE do it our way or the highway, baby. Now, the judges are, by the way, a very favorable judge between me and the stars. I looked up her background. She destroyed Trumpsters before, so she's not immune to it. But guess what? She's not the final say. All she could do is issue a TRO, what they call temporary restraining order. Then they can appeal it. And then I think in Massachusetts, you go to the First Circuit Court of Appeals. And then even there, it can get bounced to the United States Supreme Court. Seriously. In other words, it can go right up.
Do you think this will be resolved, Nick, before we see Trump's taxes?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. In other words, don't hold your breath on that because we're not going to see it because the way they're doing it, letting the New York prosecutors look at it. But it does create in other words, it's going to be sealed it's before the grand jury, so that
this delaying tactic of pushing it off. What's the effect on the students?
Oh, the students? Well, it's the universities. It's not just the students' universities. Right. Now, if you go through the response, I didn't send to everybody. I sent all the people on that. I'll send it to you, Jim, the complaint and response. The response. Oh, you did? Okay. The response is, okay, you didn't have standing, which means, dude, you're not the affected party. It's the students. Now, and that's a legitimate legal argument. You know, you're not the party who's been sued. It's the bloody students. Another response is, hey, it's within our discretion to do this. We're the INS, okay? In other words, we can do what we want. And show me the irreparable harm. By the way, the irreparable harm, I think, is a weak argument for them because it is irreparable. Deporting people is not something that is he's just taking yeah, it's not like you can take it back when you're on an airplane going back home to a country you can't go back to. Now, if you go look at who filed the suit and who responded it, the attorney that responded was actually pretty good. He's actually did go to Bampton and then went to University of Pennsylvania Law School. Not a super experienced attorney, but certainly is not a bad lawyer who did the response, which was the correct response to do, I thought. Correct suit to do also. And see, this is where judicial discretion is huge. It's up to the judge. The judge can go either way on this. The judge can go, well, you know, I don't think it's ripe because it was a regulation that wasn't final, and she could toss it. Okay. But then that puts everybody in limbo. You see what I mean? Or she could say, you can't do this and slam them. Or she could say, I mean, she can go a different direction. She could go, well, you don't have standing, which I think that's not where they're going to go. If I was a punting judge and I wanted to punt the case, I would go, well, it's not right because it wasn't a final order. And you punt it and send everybody back into chaos. Okay. And it could do that. But that means
sound like a punting judge.
It's a punt. What?
He doesn't sound like a punting judge.
It's a she, and what is she going to punt? In other words, you can punt saying, hey, I believe also the hearing is going to be again Friday. They had a preliminary on Tuesday. The attorneys for the respondents go, we didn't have enough time. They moved it to Friday, so Friday. But again, there's another thing she could do. Thing goes to her, listens to oral arguments and go, I'll take it under advisement. In other words, I'm not going to rule from the bench. A lot of judges will not rule on it right away. I'll get to you. I had one that got to me about a year later. Seriously, we did oral arguments in the Ninth Circuit. I was the lead guy who was doing the arguments. Kolzinski was the chief judge at the time, well-known jurist in your jurisdiction, my friend, Jim, the Ninth Circuit. I'm admitted there. And he punted for a year. I'm serious. So, you know, it'll be interesting. It's what we call legal football. It's a great game, but you got to follow it, you know, and it can go either direction. So I thought.
My question, Nick, is what is the effect if, say, she punts or says, I'll take it under advisement? What's the effect on the students?
Okay, it's the effect on the universities. Okay, they have to draw up their plans. This is a practical problem. They got to draw up their plans as to how they're going to incorporate students, what classes they're going to offer, how to offer the class. It takes time. I'm right now working on my book at Northeastern. Okay, I do books too, Jim, but you wouldn't want to read my books. They're these crazy big green things back here that don't read in English. I
don't want to read them.
You don't want to read it. It's IRS code. I mean, it's garbage. I mean, bleh. It's just, the people that suffer through that. And it takes a long time just to redo that stuff. Okay. And see, all the professors, all the teachers, and all the students, it takes time to move 200. How are you going to move 213,000 people? It's not easy. All right. And so the thing is, they can, with one line item, or all they have to do is say it's a final rule now. And it's over. And all of a sudden they got to shift everything back a different direction, which comes back to committee meetings, et cetera. So right now, and we're going to have Greg Busman's going to be here, the former dean of the University of Southern Illinois. I'll ask him, do they have contingency plans? It's almost like you got a plan A going this way, plan with coronavirus, plan B without coronavirus, which is not going to probably happen, plan C with the Trump version of coronavirus, which may have nothing to do with A or B. So, and they're going to have
something. There might be something going on in US in terms of what's happening with the universities, but there's a different story running on all other countries where students come to US for studies, and their important concern is not about education. Their concern is that OTP program, because with that program they can work 2 years and then they can, recollect whatever money they spend on the education, and that is what the plan is. And then they got more exposure, which is difficult now because a lot of courses which they will be offering won't be having that program. And that means you'll be losing people, you'll be losing skills, and you'll be losing the foreign money for the education as well. And also that foreign money, with that money you are giving scholarship to Americans, which is also a problem now.
Right, I know that's what the dean at Illinois was saying, and you're talking about a $40 billion of influx, but I was involved with the international students all the way back in 1981. Because the University of Miami had a program that brought in foreign students. It was a great program, and I got to know these students from all over the world. As a matter of fact, now that you mentioned, I'm going to try to bring in a friend of mine I went to school with who now teaches at Georgetown. Okay, his name is Mohammed Mater, and he came to the U.S. from Egypt. His dad was like the Attorney General of Egypt. I mean, these people are good people. And he eventually got what they call an SJD, which is a hard degree. It's a PhD in law. People don't even know what it is. But what happened is, to give you an idea how I introduced him to the United States of America, we was rooming in the same room with me, and I threw all his stuff out of my room because I didn't want to have a room all by myself. I didn't know who he was. I didn't really care, but it was who I was back then, probably is today. Okay. In other words, I said, the university is going to make me have a roommate. I'm not good with roommates. Threw all his stuff out. Muhammad goes, "What's going on?" I said, "You're not rooming with me, dude." Okay. Look at Jim. So I went to the administrators, and I went there too. I said, "Look, I'm rooming by myself. This is my room. I roomed here last year. I don't know who this guy is. Don't really care, but he's not going to be in my room." But we became really good friends after that incident. It's like, welcome to the United States of America. And he eventually became a professor at Georgetown.
But Nick, I got to press this point because I don't care about the universities. The university is going to be taking care of themselves. I care about the student who's affected by this.
The students are going to get
What
killed.
are they going to do?
It's horrible for them. First of all, these guys are really bright people. Okay, I mean, they're really bright. You got to think about it. They have to figure a way to get to the United States of America in their teens. There's financial issues, language issues, visa issues, passport issues, currency issues. I mean, all sorts of things. They're leaving their home country. They get over here. Okay, then they got to reconnect with people here. I mean, these are fantastic people. At least this is my indication hanging around the international students at University of Miami. They were receiving what they call an LLM in international law. Okay, and so the thing is, it encouraged me to go overseas. Of course, I went to Oxford. That wasn't really a big stretch because they speak English over there, and that was really but it was a great experience to go to Oxford, and then I got to go to Paris for the first time, which was a better experience because they don't speak English, and I did become homeless there because I couldn't figure out how. I missed my bus. Okay. And the thing is, the bus parked in a different place. And back then, no credit cards, no money, no nothing. What do you do? And you kind of like sleep on the streets of Paris. And there's a whole, back then, I don't know if it's today, there's a whole night crowd there that comes out. You don't even see them during the day. They're extremely weird people. And that was Paris in the 1980s. But it was a great experience. And so what I'm looking at is these international students bringing the culture diversity to the United States and reciprocity is just a great experience. That who's defeating it? Some clown who's a administrator at ICE who doesn't know jack, who's a pea brain. You know, not that I have a position on this, but now you know my position on it. Okay, some pea brain administrator who line items. Well, we changed our mind. You know. I mean, down south, you know what we do? We just punch this guy's lights out. But of course, as a lawyer, I'd get disbarred for that. But I mean, I'd find out who the guy is. I would just beat the tail out of him. And
his kneecaps would be suffering right now.
His kneecaps would be suffering right now because I said this is just plain stupid. Okay, you know. But we have a legal process, so it's going to go in front of the judge, and we'll see what happens. But I think it's an exciting case, you know, for IBM TV. It's real television to bring on. And
you're trying to get me to believe that the government is doing something irrational and stupid.
Oh, absolutely. Oh. You know, we had this conversation quite some time ago. Remember, I told everybody it's on record that we're going to go over 100,000 deaths when we were sitting like at 20,000 or something like that. And I said that all the moves they're making are horrible. They were going to see this come back. All took place. You know, it's not hard to predict. First of all, again, you cheat. You follow the University of Washington, who does studies on this, and they do it intensely. And they say it's over 200. I agree. You know what can I say? Every move they make is absolutely horrible. It's like watching a chess player. Since you guys are both good chess players, ever watch a 1200 player play a 900 player? Okay, yeah. And you're watching the boards, and you're going like, you shouldn't do that. Okay, yeah. That's how I feel when I watch the U.S. government play coronavirus.
No, I know. It's sad, but it's tragic.
Yeah, right. The only difference is that when we watch an 1100 player or a 1200 player play a 900 player. Okay, the worst comes in chess, you lose the game. Right here, they kill thousands of people. You know, and I go, just wear the bloody mask. And they go, well, you know, you should. I said, it's empirically obvious you should wear the mask. And now they figured it out. And I'm going like, yeah, after you kill 100,000 people, no, duh. You know, so it's very discouraging to watch what goes on in our wonderful government of the United States of America.
I have a quick question.
What?
I have a quick question. Obviously, in the year, I think 2018, U.S. exported this education worth close to $45 billion. And that is, in fact, over 450,000 U.S. jobs. Okay? So if government decided to forego all that, there must be very, very heavy and important reason for them to do so. What, in your opinion, could be that reason?
Oh, you mean why would they do something so stupid as this? Is that what you're trying to say, Sasha?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a good point. There's a push on by the administration to get people back to school, which is, again, there's only one word for it. Stupid. You know, I mean, the thing is, this is a proven problem that is not solved by jamming people together. And even if the kids don't catch it, I'm serious. Come on.
The teachers will.
The teacher, bingo. The teachers will. And there was a study recently done. 25% of the teachers have pre-existing conditions. You know, they're older people that have problems, et cetera. So there's only one word for the policy. It's stupid. Okay. And if you don't think our government has done stupid moves before, you missed the Vietnam War. Okay, you know, I mean, the thing is, stupid is as stupid does, and you can go back through the history of stupid moves made on the chessboard.
Stupid, eh?
and there's no other way to describe it. So since we do have smart people like you and Jim here, Jim, since your program is coming up first, tell us a little bit about who's going to be on your program today at 1:00. I'm excited to listen to it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Next week you're going to have Stuart Rachels on. Now I may beam in only for this reason. I've always wanted to listen to Stuart Rachels and talk to him because the mystery behind this guy is he won the U.S. chess championship when he's like a kid, became an international master. He should be a GM just by winning the U.S. championship, and he quit. Okay, and then became a professor. His dad was a very famous professor. A great story who's buried in the outskirts of Alabama. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's exciting. So I may beam in. I'm sorry to do it. I really don't want to interfere with your show, but
no. I don't
know if I could miss that one.
Like you and Sunil. You and Sunil had a longer relationship than Sunil and I had. So.
Yeah, it's just he's the East Coast guy, as you know. Yeah. I mean, he came into New York. So tell us about the two people you have this afternoon at 1:00.
I have two people that I've become friends with over the years. One is Beatriz Marinello, originally from Chile, and now lives in New York. And we have both been involved in USCF politics, United States Chess Federation political system. I was on the executive board of that organization. Beatriz was as well, and she became to be the first woman president of the United States Chess Federation. Then I went on to represent the United States in FIDE, the World Governing Organization for Chess, and so did she after I was there. And she went on to become part of the presidential board of so she is one-up me every step of the way, and one of the few people in chess politics that I take advice from.
Oh, really? I didn't know there was such thing as chess
a women's
politics.
International master as well, and so we haven't played each other, and we both are a little reluctant to find out who's better. But the other one we know is better, Grandmaster Thomas Luther from Germany,
right?
And he is on. He is the FIDE, the World Governing Organization's chair of the players with disabilities. And
really?
I met him. Beatrice was organizing the third FIDE World Junior Championship for players with disabilities, and Thomas and I were helping, and so we all got to know each other and become friends.
Really? Wow. Yeah, and just remember, there's only 1,600 grandmasters in the world. There's 2,400 billionaires. So it's a harder catch to actually get a chess grandmaster than it is a billionaire. Part of it is they just don't give away the grandmaster title. Look, Stuart Rachels didn't get it. I mean, whoa. I think Michael Wilder, he may have got it. I don't know. But he was did he or not?
I think so.
Yes.
He did get it, but he was another guy who goes, I quit. And I think he got into law, and he works in a law firm right now. So Sasha, you have the great one, Chess Stars, where these people actually battle their brains out, on a chessboard. So I love watching your show.
For our entertainment.
For our entertainment. I like that. Have the chess players play each other, battle their brains out for our entertainment. That's good. So what do you got going on this week?
Yeah, essentially, I'm now trying to figure out what would be the right name for this process, because although it is based on chess, undoubtedly, but the process itself is kind of getting people away from just regular chess and explores many other possibilities, and some of them are related to poker, in my opinion. So there is a base is a chess, but a lot of elements from poker. And what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to bring chess to everyday men who can go and observe the game, participate by making bets, maybe win some money. Some prizes will be quite significant. First prize in the World Championship would be $500,000. Not every grandmaster can make this type of money.
Not every grandmaster.
Not every.
Yeah. $500,000 is a lot of dough. And I like your concept, predict the move. We used to call it kibitzing. You sit back on there and you say, you should have done this, you should have done that, and all this other stuff.
Well,
that's what I'm best at.
No. You can put your money where
you can put your money on your kibitz.
Just shut up and you make something out of it. Just what you're predicting.
Let your
Actually,
crown do the talking.
Let your
by the
crown
way,
do the
all
talking.
my speed games that I ever played, and I used your suggestions, all of them were losing in one, maximum two moves. All of them.
Yeah.
100%. You know that, right?
Right, of course. Yeah. Oh, you should go here. Oh, that's horrible move. Sorry, I
No,
gave that one to
no.
you, Sasha.
All I should do, I should immediately, once you set something, eliminate that moves out of any other to consider.
Right.
Okay, this one I will not play for sure. Okay, so it's already kind of eliminates additional thoughts about it. But however, it's neither here nor oh, we have new guests.
Oh, the dude and action team has arrived.
Yeah.
Hi,
Acting.
Tanu. Hi, Nathan. How are you
I
doing?
saw your show the other day. It was really great. You know, I mean, are you guys out of South Africa or where are you from? I was going to call it the Dude Show.
We're from South Africa, and interesting things happening this side. We're going through the prohibition. Our government has outlawed alcohol and cigarettes.
During COVID-19.
Yeah, so it's
Oh, so you guys are going to finally dry up now? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah.
Now with Sasha, he's got vodka stored away, stashed away for rainy days.
And cigars.
And cigars. I mean, he's a Russian man. They're all set to go. But you guys in South Africa don't work that way. Is that the
We have
story?
pineapples and potatoes, so we can start.
Yeah, we're making our own beer out of pineapples.
Oh,
Beer
You go
out
to
of
NES.
pineapple.
I
Okay,
know.
these people are desperate. Okay, right. You know. So in Johannesburg, what do you guys do? I mean, I saw the show. I thought it was a great show. But what else do you do? Do you do anything else but the show? Talk to me.
Yeah, so we're both in the entertainment industry in South Africa anyway. I'm an actress, I'm a playwright. I have a non-profit organization for orphaned and vulnerable children, where we use storytelling and illustrating to help create positive mindsets and instill good family values in these children. And I also do a lot of content creation and marketing stuff as well. So I'm very busy.
And I'm a singer actually by trade, but I have my own audiovisual company. So I film TV shows, South African TV shows. I make music videos. I do animation, graphic design, all that sort of creative.
He's part of two bands,
Yeah.
Swing City and Lone Hill Estate.
Yeah, check out Swing City. You might enjoy it. It's like the South African Rat Pack.
Swing City? Is that
write
it?
it down.
Okay, yeah, because we need to find in the States here. We don't know much about South Africa. We know it's like on the other side of the pond.
I'm surprised you
south.
speak English.
Oh yeah, well Jim's surprised that everybody speaks English. You know, he didn't know the people in Malaysia or India speak English. I mean, or Australia. That was the other day. He's going, oh, "You speak pretty good English from Australia. What was an English colony? Hello,
I'm
Jim.
an ugly American. What can I say?
Boy. Okay, so yeah, they speak English in South Africa.
Well, you guys are blowing my mind. Nick, I think we should have them on IBM TV.
Yeah, I think they should be on IBM TV. You guys should have your own show. Wait, they do. I think it's on Sunday too. You know, yeah, I saw it. It was a great show. I couldn't believe it. They actually have talent in South Africa. That's amazing. I thought all the talent was over here.
Yeah, USA.
You know, yeah, USA. You know, I didn't know there was talent overseas.
You've got a few of our guys on your side of the pond. You've got Trevor Noah, Charlize Theron. You've got Elon Musk. They're South African.
Elon Musk is South African?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
I wouldn't admit that.
He's Jim's friend, you know. Yeah, South African. Okay, so you guys actually send people over here.
Yeah.
You know, when you're the talented people. You know, we closed our borders so no one can get in. Did you see that?
And they closed their borders so we can't get out.
I know we can't get out. Yeah, it's kind of awful. But the internet, we can transport people through the internet, and they can't stop it yet. You know, but they're going to try to do that.
Working on that.
So you're in Johannesburg. Is that the big entertainment? Because we seem to get a lot of shows from Johannesburg, but nothing from Cape Town. It's like Cape Town, nothing happens there. What's going on in the entertainment world there? Is everything in Johannesburg, nothing Cape Town?
So Cape Town is obviously a beautiful film location. So that's where our South African film industry is. But But Cape Townians, they're a little bit more laid back than Johannesburgers.
Oh, really? Okay. So the thing is, they don't like to work. I'd fit in there. Okay. I can
Cape Town, not
Cape Town. Okay, I'm going to write down Cape Town. That's where I'm going to go.
Weather is horrible.
Oh, the winter's horrible? Oh, Lord. Oh, yeah, that's right, because you're further down under, sort of.
Yeah, they have an uncold, wet winter.
Uncold, wet winter. Okay. Right. Yeah. Well, usually in about an hour and a half, we have Henning Morales, who usually beams in from Hollywood. And I had to ask him, dude, why he runs this Dirt Merchant Films and he runs all these Hollywood films out of there. I go, dude, why do you live in Hollywood? Why you can live anywhere right now because the internet. He goes, all the talent is in Hollywood. Okay. Okay. So in case, dude, you and Acton don't know, all the talent is in Hollywood. Okay. So what happened in Johannesburg stays in Johannesburg,
Right, yeah.
We're not sure
is our broadcasting, television, series, soapies, all of that kind of stuff happens in Johannesburg.
You guys have television over there too?
Yeah, we do. And
really?
radio.
Okay, just want to make sure. Okay. Jim thinks
He's so embarrassing.
I thought maybe all of it was kangaroos. Oh wait, different country.
Yeah.
We're ugly Americans. What can we say?
No, we're narrow-minded Americans. So we work on. Okay, so there's no kangaroos, and you guys actually have television. Do you have PBS there? Do you watch PBS?
We do not.
I want to ask, what is PBS?
Okay, public broadcasting system. I love that. Love that answer, by the way. I have a history with that organization. What about CBS, ABC, NBC? Are those the ones that you watch?
We get certain shows from those channels over here, but we have our own satellite network called DSTV. So we get certain channels and certain shows from your channels, but we're not licensed to the whole channel. Now I think HBO has its own streaming platform, which we have access to.
HBO Max.
But, as for the others, we just get snippets here and there. The most common one, we get a lot of the sort of CNNs and things like that.
BBC.
But you have Netflix and Amazon Prime.
You have Netflix and Amazon?
Yeah, we've got Netflix, Amazon, but also South African, so we're not licensed to everything. So
you actually have your own television programs, South African deals?
I think it's the same for the majority, but certain licenses to go to South Africa, have not been made available. So we have most of the shows that you guys will have in the States, bar a few, until we get those licenses. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's all about the money.
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure we're on the same page. Yeah, I was wondering about
money.
It's all about the money, licensing.
We're all one world.
We're all one world. And show them what the world's about. You know what it is. You have it there.
I have to find out.
Oh, you have it with you? Okay.
Okay.
Got to.
That's our audiovisual aid.
Our audiovisual aid, so that we know what it is.
But apart from television, they follow or they watch a lot of cricket and soccer as well in South Africa.
Oh, they do.
Cricket.
Okay, right. Cricket. Well, yeah, they probably know what cricket is.
We are almost the top. We beat India. No, Joseph, we beat you the last time. When did we last play? I'm out of sync.
Ooh, the gauntlet has been thrown out.
And did you hear that? South Africa beats India at cricket.
So basically, if you check out the records, it's like the latest records are like India is beating South Africa anytime at any ground, basically. So, you never know what's happening. But, we are very good friends with South Africa, and there are a lot of people, join and play on IPL as well. They won't play in the national team, but they play IPL. So that's cricket.
Okay. So the thing, he says that India and South Africa are friends. Here's my friend. There he is, George. There we go. He's my friend.
That won't even get you a cup of coffee anymore, Nick.
I know. I realize that. But see, I don't carry that stuff anymore. See what we do in America? We carry this. Don't leave home without it.
Yeah, right.
Express. So I don't carry cash. I carry credit cards. What?
Don't you guys have microchips in your wrist?
Sort of. Actually, there's chips right here, right there. But see, now you can copy it. It's good for lots. But I got a lot of these things. You know. Oh, okay, so you guys are in the entertainment industry. Oh yeah, I got cell phones. Wow. I have them
All
too.
right,
There we go. There we
great,
go. Let me
yeah.
copy down the numbers. Let me copy down numbers. Oh, can you
You're part
turn
of
it
the
to the other
world.
side? I need the CVV, please. I need the CVV. Turn it on the other side because I'm going to go shopping today. So. I hope you don't spend too much. We have a financial fitness program, so you can pull down your credit cards and I'll take care of the other side for you. No big deal. Now, since you're an actress, okay, an actress always got me. I mean, I could never do that work. Don't you have to make a living pretending somebody that you're not? In other words, isn't that what you do? You got to say, I'm going to pretend all day I'm somebody I'm really not.
That's what I do.
In layman's terms, basically, you've got to build a character and tell a story through that character and pretend for a certain amount of time. So yes, I'm a really good con artist.
Oh, you got to be a very good con artist.
Good for you.
You know, the thing is, okay, let me tell you something.
Into the character, you have to be the character. You're not really pretending.
Be the
there's
character.
one missing ingredient, though. You must be paid very well to do it. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense.
Coming from the Russian, you got to pay.
Half-hearted, Alex.
You got to get.
But
you got to get this.
You artists are driven by your passions, not your money, not the money.
What?
Is that correct?
Is that true?
It actually is. Most of the arts, performing arts, theatre, TV, musicians, we definitely have something ingrained in us that has a passion to change the world through using that medium.
Well,
And
that's great. I will invite you to my show. That's great. Great news for me. And use all your passion as much as you have it.
Sasha's
he was born in Odessa, Ukraine.
Sasha wants to change his pocketbook. He doesn't care about changing the world. He wants to see the numbers in his pocketbook go up. Forget the world. World goes down, doesn't matter. You know.
I think that's our initial spark is the passion, which is the drive to make you go to work hard to do. I've done more than 10,000 hours. I can stamp it. I can get paid for it now. We do get paid, thank goodness. We've made ourselves work in the industry. It's not easy. You don't get a contract and you've got a job until you're fired or you decide you want to leave. So there are constraints to contracts and stuff like that. But if you want it, you work hard enough. It's a business. It's like any other business.
That's one of the hardest things in South Africa, though, is that we have very little government support for the arts in general. We get a lot of support for sport, so our sport teams do really well, but the arts suffer quite a bit. I mean, we have amazing talent in the theatre world, in the acting world, in the music world as well. But yeah, there's very little interest of the government to put any money into it. So it'll usually come.
Boo-hoo! You're talking to a chess player.
Yeah, you think you guys are bad? Go look at the chess players. They got paid nothing.
You don't even have borders.
Yeah.
You know?
You don't even have what?
Borders.
Oh,
borders. Yeah. Right.
I
think
Jim,
is, it's
tell me, you
absolutely,
sold all your borders. How much you will get paid for that?
it's absolutely a horrible existence. What Jim went through, I wouldn't send my dog through. But the thing is, that's what he did. You know, I mean, he tries to make a living playing chess. I mean, to me,
you sell your body.
But
no, he can't get much for that one. Sorry.
But look, he's still alive. He spent all his life playing chess.
That's because he wrote this book called Chess for Dummies.
Still alive, right?
He found there was a lot of Americans who were dummies, and they buy these dummies book. So he wrote this book, and he gets royalties on it.
This has been translated into many languages.
He's the author for Chess for Dummies. Okay, you know, if you write something for dummies here in the United States, you're an automatic success. So he realized his chess career was faltering, just horrible. He couldn't win a tournament to save his bloody life.
Well,
so he wrote Chess for Dummies. Yeah.
So why not do somebody can write book Showbiz for Dummies? I think that book will sell billion copies around the world.
What for dummies, Sasha?
Everybody wants to do something with the showbiz, and everybody's dummies.
Showbiz for dummies.
Yeah, what they want, showbiz for dummies.
Showbiz for dummies.
This is millions with an M.
I was
He's
really
talking
interested.
billions with a B.
I watched a movie the other night called The Coldest Game, I think, and it's about chess. It's about the Cold War.
Yes.
America versus Russia, and they play chess against each other. It was a really good film, actually. It's on Netflix.
Oh, have you seen the musical Chess?
Yes, yeah.
Haven't.
Wow.
One Night in Bangkok.
Yes,
Really?
exactly.
Have you seen there was a musical I saw the other day called Hamilton? Have you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
seen that?
I saw
I've
it.
heard of it. I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard of it.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what? Because I was spent a week in New York. They have Broadway week. I'll have to invite you guys to come there. It's the last week of January. The hotel prices are like super discounted. You get a suite in Manhattan for $100 a night. Seriously, and they discount all the because it's the last week of January. It's really pretty slow, and so they discount all the Broadway tickets except Hamilton, $300, $400, $600 a seat.
Well, you're
A
talking
seat.
pre-COVID.
This is pre-COVID, right? After COVID,
Broadway is
after
done.
COVID, right now, here's what they're doing: zero. You're getting paid nothing to be an
Yeah.
actor. They lose out. But even here in Raleigh, Durham, they have a place called the D-Pack, 3,000 seat, sell it out every time, every day. I mean,
Wow.
unbelievable. So even though the government doesn't support arts here, the people here do, and they go out to see all this stuff because we're bored to tears. So we'll see any act that comes by. We'll pay money to go see anything.
Beautiful.
So let me play the video in the meantime.
All right.
We have a quick city video.
Guys with me? Yeah, hold on, chief.
I bet you don't have your glasses on when you're performing.
Yeah.
There it is.
I can't give a small apology. Now I'm the king of the swingers, so the jungle VIP. I've reached the top and had to stop it. That's what's bothering me. I wanna be a man like you and stroll right into town and be just like these other men. I'm tired of walking around. Oh, moving you, shoot it up. I wanna be like you. Shoot it up. I wanna walk like you, talk like you. It's true. Yeah, you say it's true. Shoot it up. Oh, an aim like me. Shoot it up. Oh, I can learn to be like someone like you. Play the secret on me, Dave. Man, tread fire. What makes you think? Now don't try to kid me, Dave. I made a deal with you. What I desire is a man's red fire to make my dreams come true. So give me the secret, man. Come on. Tell me what to do. Give me the power, a man's red flower, so I can be like you. Oh, shoot it, I wanna be like you. Shoot it, I wanna walk like you, talk like you. It's true. You see it's true. Shoot it, oh, it ain't like me. Shoot it, oh, I can't learn to be like someone like you. Can't learn to be like someone like you. I can't learn to be like someone like you. Because I'm just not over it. That's why. Oh, we do. I wanna be like you. I wanna walk like you, talk like you. It's true. You say it's true. Oh, it ain't like me. Oh, we can learn to be like someone like you. Can learn to be like someone like you. Take me home, daddy, daddy. Can learn to be like someone like you. Yeah.
Oh, these guys are pretty good. Who are they? Ankat, they're really good. Who are they?
I think you need to take that.
Dude and Action. Do you guys know who those people are? They're pretty good. Are they from South Africa or where?
Yeah, they can't be from South Africa.
No, they can't be.
No.
Are they from New
They
Orleans?
got talent.
Watch it yourself. It's much better. The audio. I think
Oh,
you're
yeah.
hearing it.
Don't worry about that. We
know it was transported to YouTube. Since it was transported to YouTube, the Facebook police will look at it and then they'll ban us. They literally will do that because you don't have the rights to that. You can't play it.
Yeah.
So
ICE will be all over it.
ICE will be all over it here in this country. Half of us will get deported that live here and are citizens, and then they'll bring you people in and
they'll send me to Cape Town.
Cape Town.
Yeah.
They love
And this group is really good. We should bring them on.
I'll
Do you know
survive.
who they
This
are?
is Nathan. So that was Nathan. Nathan was performing in the front.
Nathan?
Yeah. Dude is Nathan.
Who's Nathan?
Dude.
Are you talking about the dude with the glasses?
Yeah.
No. There was a really good singer there.
Yeah.
Okay? And then they had a whole good band.
And
so
he had some
we had to
rhythm.
get a hold of those people.
So Nathan has a twin brother. His name is Nathan Plus, and he was doing the same.
Oh, really? Okay, right, great. Well, you should talk to your brother and get him over here.
Yeah.
They don't have anything like that here.
He should be in LA.
And come, yeah, you should be in LA. You actually have
Do you
talent.
want to import Nathan? Nick, do you want to import Nathan?
Yeah, right. Because the thing is, if they have talent, they need to be in LA. They cannot be ananywhere else.
I've been to Hollywood,
I've
actually.
already talked to Henning Morales. He goes, look, all the talent in the world is within 10 block square of Hollywood. Okay. There is no talent anywhere else in the world.
Well, dude, in Action Pam, I got to tell you that San Franciscans aren't that fond of LA.
No, and there's no talent in San Francisco.
We do not agree with.
No, they're all wireheads like Elon Musk. Those guys are wireheads. They're not actors.
That's true.
Okay. They sit on the computer all day. Hey,
I do.
Computer all day. That's not where all the talent is. It's in Hollywood, baby. Now, he thinks they're in Bollywood, but there's no Bollywood people in Hollywood. Hollywood is where it's at. So
Who's the most well-paid actor in India?
Oh, yeah, we'll ask them that question. Okay. Who is the highest paid actor in India? Dude, Nash. Who's the highest paid actor in India?
I would say Shah Rukh Khan.
They know who he is.
Oh, you're the first one to get it right.
He's the first one to get it right. No one knows who he is here.
You blew it for us.
Okay, there's only one thing to do. See, Ankit's grinning. I'm losing this. So I just get rid of him. See, the thing is, if I don't agree with you, I just got rid of him, Ankit's grinning. He won that one. First time.
Yeah, so bye, Ankit. That's why I always lose to Nick. I don't care what the game is. I always lose to Nick.
We're a backgammon couple as well.
Yeah.
We play a lot of backgammon. So sorry, Jim.
Yeah.
Backgammon is a great game.
Seriously, did you go to Las Vegas and play? I can get you some good games.
And backgammon?
Yeah, all the talented backgammon players are in Las Vegas.
And all of our, a lot of our former chess players, believe it or not, and some of the top players in the world, they're all in Las Vegas, all of them. So you guys are are you seriously in Johannesburg?
Yeah.
Okay, you're seriously you're seriously in the wrong city.
Not for a second.
As soon as we open the borders, here's what we're going to do. We're going to send you a plane ticket and come to the right city in the right country. The world's largest economy. By the way, the world's largest economy is not India. It's the United States of America, the U.
But we have the biggest economy. If you want more viewers, you have to come to India. We are
you want the viewers to go to India, but you want the
That's true. You got to
Nick, I just got a question
Nick's
for
going to
you.
throw him off the show again.
A serious question for you on that about America. So we only get CNN here in South Africa really as American news, and it looks like America is falling apart at the seams if you watch CNN.
Yeah, I've been watching CNN. It's called Crappy Network News. Okay.
So, Nathan, who is more popular in South Africa, Nelson Mandela or Donald Trump?
At the moment, Donald Trump. Nelson Mandela's lost a lot of fans because
legacy's turning out.
Yeah, they're sort of changing.
What I'm surprised you're not having so many American channels now, and then still Donald Trump is popular. So that means South African channels are also showcasing Donald Trump?
It's not that he's popular; it's that he dominates the news. So
That's true.
left-wing news and obviously the left-wing news only reports negative things about Donald Trump. So we get hammered with that. Even Trevor Noah, our own South African who's over there, has a show bashing Trump. So it's quite
and he
funny.
does it very well. He's very talented.
And you know, there was a story running somewhere on the media that if Donald Trump loses 2020, he might either move to Mexico or South Africa to win elections there.
Okay. but then Nick and Jim are gonna be stuck with Kanye West.
I'm going to move to Cape Town, hang out.
Cape Town's looking better than me.
Cape Town's looking good. Okay, so here's what we got to do. We got to do an exchange here. I'll go to Cape Town. You go to Las Vegas and Hollywood. By the way, they're pretty close to each other. You got to take that act. That act's either got to go to Hollywood or it's got to go to New Orleans. Or
I'd be more than happy to settle in San Francisco. I wouldn't lie.
No, baby. Oh man, I love this.
Those are wired heads,
dude.
No, they're not artistic people there.
The best city I've ever lived in.
It's horrible. You know, it's expensive. Okay, it's expensive. All the people are wireheads. They drink too much coffee. Okay, and the thing is,
espresso.
The real estate prices are out of control. Okay, there are no talented people like actors and singers there. All they do is look at computers all day. You don't want to do that. You want to go to LA. Okay, and we do have people from LA that come to
go to San Francisco. We will put the graphics behind you, and you will
pretend you're in LA
on film.
It's so easy. We can actually do it here. We can just do the San Fran Bridge behind us.
I've actually been to Hollywood, Nick.
Yeah, but the thing is, you didn't stay there. You didn't live there. That's where your future is.
It was too expensive.
But how about Nathan will go to LA and Tammy will go to San Francisco? I mean, they can manage both the cities.
Well, there's the bullet trains that take you. Oh, wait a minute, there aren't.
And then you know that Jim. And then we have Elon Musk. I mean, and he's doing that hybrid road. So it's LA and San Francisco is like an hour distance now, I think.
Yeah.
You just meet.
Yeah, and you got to promote your actors from South Africa because Americans were stupid. We don't know anybody from South Africa. You
don't know what USA stands for.
What does it stand for?
You're stupid, eh?
You're stupid. So the thing is, if you're from South Africa, you have this cachet. Okay, from South Africa. That means they're not from here. They're from somewhere else, and that's big time. You get all these people to go see the show, and then they spend huge amounts of money. I think for me to go to the DPAC, it's like $100 to $300 a ticket, to go watch the show, and they get 3,000 people. Do the math. The money goes jing, 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 jing. Okay, all you need is like a couple of shows like that.
We have theater, we have concerts.
Actually, Mark Lee, who's on our radio show, actually is on the board of directors of the Carolina Theater here in Raleigh, Durham. Okay, and we
have a musical.
What? We have a musical. Okay, and see, after all, as you know, it's not what you know. It's not how good you are. It's who you know. And forget the rest of it. Okay, it's who you know. Doesn't matter. Okay, you know. I mean, come on. Who's that crazy
lady? You know me. Now you know me.
You know Jim.
Come to San Francisco. All the restaurants will give you a good table.
No, San Francisco's a waste of time. Okay, the thing is, I'm telling you the right place to go. Why is he sending you to the dark side? I mean,
You know what I think we need to do when COVID is over. Then you both individually can take us on different tours. Yeah. And then we'll make up our own mind.
It's a date.
That seems way too democratic for me. I'm having a problem with it.
Okay, Nick, how do you like this? You take us on a trip.
Yeah.
Or else. Is that more dictated?
Right. I can understand that. Okay.
The consequences will be there on the dark side.
Yeah.
So
now, who's that famous country singer in the United States? She's a young girl, always belts out the same thing.
Alexandra May?
No, she's a good actor. She's actually a good singer. No, this one makes a lot of money. It's not Shawana Twain. She has a weird name, but she's who? Taylor Swift. That's it. Taylor Swift.
Good job.
Okay, listen. Taylor Swift is all about one word: marketing. 2 words: marketing and money. That's it. If you ever listen to her gig, it's the same bloody thing over and over again, appealing to the 13, 14-year-olds. I mean, I'm going like, are you kidding me? And that's the best we got. So
that's a renewable resource.
It is a renewable resource. That is true. The best you got. But no, a South African act. We'll have to talk to some of our people here and get you. You have to have all these gigs lined up before you come over.
That's what we've been doing in lockdown, is creating more and more content. So as soon as things open up, we're in the theaters, we're back on stage.
Yeah, but you're back on stage in South Africa, right?
Yeah, but we'll be able to bring it across.
You got to bring it across the pond.
But you just need the right graphics behind you. I'm telling you.
Yeah, and don't go to San Francisco. It's a waste of time.
Talent is not enough.
There's no talent in San Francisco. Okay. The only talent that we saw in San Francisco, they can actually do this. Once you guys become famous celebrities, and by the way, this Alexander May, no question, she will be a famous celebrity at some point in time. Super famous. I've watched her show over and over again. I'm highly impressed. She can actually produce, direct, do the whole bloody thing.
But she doesn't play chess.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of it. But all she has to do is tell people, well, I also play chess, and she'll get 600 million followers overnight because chess players are going,
oh, yeah.
Woman who plays chess. Oh, no, I'm in love. I mean,
chess players will fall in love with her.
Automatically,
as long as they know, even if she just lies to them,
it doesn't matter. That's who they are. So you got to do, Jim. You got to send them the book "Chess for Dummies," and then just tell people, also I play chess, and all chess players go, ah.
I wonder how many people have bought your book and thought, I thought it was the musical.
I should put a CD in the back of it.
You retitle it "Just for Real Dummies."
You guys got something going there.
that is pretty good. But yeah, you have to come across the pond and do some of your acts here, and infiltrate culture into the great United States of America. Which
if you want to go big time, that is.
If you want to go big time. Now, if you want to stay small, I can't blame you. You can stay in that little hut called Johannesburg, okay, and be well known in that little tiny city called Johannesburg. In that tiny.
I got an idea where you are because I saw on the globe, and I know where South is. So I figured it out.
Were you looking at the flat Earth or the globe Earth?
Mine was round.
Where is this place?
Go south. Go south. There you go. There you go.
You're way down there.
You're right down there in Cape Town.
You catch a flight. You go up to this place called London. Usually people go there. I don't know why.
Yeah, everybody knows London.
Right. And then you fly over here, and you're in the great United States of America. See, that's land of the home, free of the brave, and all that stuff. We have a lot of money. Yep.
And we're melting down. We're dysfunctional. We're
right. We're totally messed up here. Yeah, we're totally messed up here. You guys will fit right in. So,
CNN's telling you the truth.
It's true. We're totally messed up. And we all know the people in your industry are crazy. So you'll fit right in here. As a matter of fact, they probably won't even know that you're from South Africa. They'll probably tell them, I'm from
accents.
Yeah. Tell them you're Canadian. Tell them you're Canadian.
Tell them you're Canadian.
Really loud, and then you're basically American.
There you go. Yeah. Wear big baggy pants and talk loud.
San Francisco, no big baggy pants for Hollywood. Thanks.
No, even in San Francisco that doesn't cut it. But we're talking about the majority of America. Oops, I just knocked over my book. Sorry.
Yeah, but it's certainly it's no great loss. So I don't think you guys really need to worry about that. If you're ever doing book burning, I got plenty of those books.
Let's bring that back. Yeah, where did that go?
The thing is, if it gets cold in Cape Town, you just drop one of Jim's books in there.
I'll just check more kindling. You guys, America's due for a book burning next month. So,
we are.
Yeah. Haven't you guys been following the biblical prophecies of Revelation as to what's happening every week in America?
No, I know they sent us plagues. Okay.
Yeah.
Fires. Okay, I've seen all that. Hurricane.
And there are locusts.
Locust came in.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's going to burn next week. I mean, that could be a bit of a problem. But they also we spread the wealth. I believe you guys have this coronavirus too over there, right?
Yeah, we've just got hit with the worst of it now.
Yeah,
so
we've just peaked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't smoke or drink.
No,
Yeah.
you can't smoke, you can't drink. We have a curfew. We're not allowed out of our houses after 9 o'clock at night.
Right.
Yeah, so we're living indoors.
And we also have this thing in South Africa called load shedding, where they can't keep all the power on at the same time. So certain areas go dark. So we get 4 hours of no electricity, and it's
Load sharing.
And we're in the middle of winter, and I think we're going to -2 soon. So
You can come to the United States. We're terrible, but it sounds like we're doing better.
yeah, yeah, you have an infrastructure that works.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah,
so you're telling me that great act that I saw just earlier is not performing right now? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, no, I've had 1 gig this year, and usually we do, like 10 shows a month. So
really, wow.
Yeah.
So basically, now where was that performed at? Because it looks like a nice venue. Where was that performed at anyway?
That was actually at a theater in where was it? I think it might have been Cresta, which is an area in Joburg.
Oh, really?
But we've just done a performance now for the National Arts Festival, which is used to be the Grand Farm National Arts Festival.
Mhm.
It's where theater and music and jazz especially gets showcased. So they had a virtual festival this year, and it was interesting. We had to go and perform to an empty room, and I mean, you know that genre of music, the swing genre of music, is very. It has a lot of banter and jokes that go along with it.
You need an audience.
You need.
Yeah,
an audience.
I can't follow that. I can't relate.
I'm trying to bring an audience in for you guys right now while you guys are talking. So I added a couple more people. Doug has just joined us, and so has Brendan. Now, Brendan is actually does travel. Okay, as a matter of fact, he runs a travel show. But Brendan, have you ever been to South Africa? Our guest here, actually, they run a show, the Dude in Action TAM show, comes in from Johannesburg, South Africa. Brendan, have you ever been to South Africa? Is that on your agenda?
To South Africa, but it is definitely on the list. It is probably in the top 5 of places I'd like to
Well,
visit.
Brendan, we have to say they say they're from South Africa.
They say they're from South Africa, and they actually
singers everywhere. So I think
they have too much talent. We think they're coming in from Los Angeles.
oh, got it.
Really good South African accent as well. The Americans Americans.
Yeah, but you're an actress. You're an actress. You can play all sorts of accents. You're not.
You don't never know whether they're telling the truth or not when they're actresses like that. And eventually they learn how to make money. They become politicians. So, I've seen that, right? So eventually you're going to be what do they call it, the Prime Minister of South Africa. He needs to patch for that. Okay, for those people that joined us at the hour, just to introduce people, we have Ankit, who's the director of IBM TV out of New Delhi. Jim, who actually runs the Eid Foundation out of the San Francisco area, and also is the author of the famous book, Chess for Dummies. Show us the famous book. Okay, thank you. Now throw that book away. Okay, Brendan Stewart, who does travel, believe it or not, runs a travel show, and Doug Crow, who actually does books. And we're going to talk to him a little bit more about books. So, and then of course, Dude in Action, who are professional actresses and singers in the great country of South Africa, with the great city of Johannesburg, which we know that's where all the talent goes. It doesn't go to Hollywood.
Found it. We found it on the globe.
Matter of fact, we actually found Johannesburg on the globe. It's right down here somewhere.
I have a question for Tammy and Nathan. That what is the capital of Africa?
The capital of Africa?
If we have create a capital of Africa, what is the capital?
Africa is a continent, so it doesn't have a capital.
We know that. I mean, generally, if you pick one city out of African countries, what would be the capital of Africa?
I would probably say Johannesburg used to be the financial capital of Africa.
Rhodesia in Zimbabwe.
I've asked the same question to our Nigerian friends, and they said Lagos is one of the biggest cities in Africa.
It is.
Yeah,
we actually have a show that comes.
Nigeria.
It is the biggest city. It overtook Cairo very recently to be the largest city in the world in the African continent. Now, Doug actually runs books, and I'm not really sure how he does and how we're going to do this book show, Doug. So tell us a little bit about what you do with books. We do have authors, legitimate authors like Jim Eade, if you would call them Chess for Dummies, but also we have Pulitzer Prize winners who come on our show. I don't know very much about it except I buy a lot of these bloody things.
Yeah.
And they sit back there. I never read them, but no, I do read them.
You got to hold up one of your books, Doug.
Yeah, what do you do with books?
We work with legitimate authors and illegitimate authors. Doesn't matter. Either way, we'll take anybody. It doesn't matter.
I like that attitude.
Yeah, I spent 20 years in the real estate industry until 2008, and during my big crash and boohoo phase, I wrote an awful book. It was horrible, so bad I didn't publish it. But I went back to some people I had on my former radio show. I was an ABC radio host in Chicago for a few years, and I talked to them about this whole book thing. And Laurel Langmeyer, Robert Kiyosaki, these folks, they don't write their books. They have ghostwriters, and a lot of ghostwriters will take their ideas and whatnot, and the clients hate that. So we developed a system with the journalist, ghostwriter, editor, and proofer that work in concert to deliver the person's voice, passion, style in a book that becomes a #1 bestseller on Amazon. We build a whole media following for them, a platform, get them in the media, news, make them slightly famous in their industry. So I've been doing that for about 12 years, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, have you ever used television like this to promote your book on a worldwide basis? Have you done that yet?
Well, I'm excited to do that. Of course, Nick. That's why we're chatting. Yes.
Well, I was just wondering because we had it in our business plan for a long time to do a book show. The only problem, we had no one to lead the book show. Yet we get a lot of...
Sign me up, man. I'm ready.
Okay, well, the thing is, you got disappointed. We have a lot of authors that actually do come on, like Jim, who wrote Chess for Dummies. I never knew that was the reason he retired, because he got royalties from this bloody book, And so the thing is, and he actually wrote it too, because
I wish I was retired.
Not a bad chess player. He really is retired. Don't kid you not. Those royalties keep flooding in, baby. And that's the thing I found out. I wrote a couple books back here, but no one wants to read them. They're tech books, technical journals.
Yeah.
However, I still get a lot of royalties every month from Amazon. I mean, you can actually monetize these things.
They do trickle in depending on your audience. Probably the bulk of my clients use their book as a launching platform for something that's actually more lucrative than a $7 royalty fee. They'll do it to launch to expand their consulting, their training courses, their business, whatever it is. So most of my clients, they pick up an extra couple $100,000 in business because of their book, not from it.
Right.
Some make it from money from the book, like you guys get royalties. That's great. Yeah. But the real royalties is in higher priced products, quite frankly.
Right. Yeah. No, the thing is, they have a expertise that they also bring to the table.
One day you might get on IBM TV.
Yes. Who knows? I might pick up chess. That'd be great. Yeah.
Waste of time. Are you in Chicago right now, Doug? Or where are you from?
I'm in Charleston, South Carolina.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, he's right down the street. It's on my list to visit as soon as the coronavirus goes away.
South Carolina was in the news recently, wasn't it?
Yeah, we got a spike in cases. It was great.
Okay. That's what it was. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Charleston. But from our stance, a beautiful city, and
it's gorgeous. The history here is amazing. It's like one of the first cities in the United States. Right. So even the Chamber of Commerce is older than our country. It was founded in 1775, and there's a lot of architecture and history. And they closed down the whole slave trading thing. That was a good move. But the history is still there, and the people are awesome. I like it down here.
Really? Yeah.
I learned that you don't talk about history to Europeans.
Our very brief history in the United States.
A brief history in the United States. Now, Jim is from the Socialist Republic of San Francisco. But Brandon, what city are you beaming out of? I notice you have your podcast mic.
Here on.
By the way, all the people that do podcasters have the podcast mic. Now, if you guys don't notice, look very carefully.
It helps cover up my face, so that way you can't see what as much as I can hide.
That is,
I've got a face made for radio.
You're supposed to lower it a little bit. Thank you, Brandon.
If you guys notice his sound, how potty it is. Okay, I mean it's podcasts. Take note, Duke in action. But anyway, okay, let's dude, take note of the podcast mic. But what city are you in?
Sound, dude.
I'm currently in St. Petersburg, so I kind of had to flee Europe when the coronavirus pandemic started. I was in Europe and kind of threw a dart at a map and went where I had some family and community and landed here in St. Petersburg.
Oh, cool.
Right. Yeah.
Florida or Russia?
Russia.
Florida. I think if I were
Okay.
in Russia, I probably wouldn't have the the ability to do this show.
Oh yeah, you would. St. Petersburg, Russia is fine. We have our resident Russian comes on every now and then. He's disappeared right now. Alexander Starr. He'll tell you all about Russia and why he lives in Canada, but that's a whole other story. And the talent who has just arrived from Johannesburg, South Africa. If you haven't seen her show, it is a great show.
Alexander's here.
It's Alexander May's Musical Cafe. It's on Sunday at 3 o'clock. Sometimes when I watch the reruns, it is a really fantastic show. I can't believe she produces. I can't believe she's 24 years old. I was like, okay, this is done by somebody who's got lots of experience in the industry.
I would card her if I was a bartender.
What?
I'd ask for ID if I was a bartender.
Yeah, I would ID her too. I said, no, you can't.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Alexander.
That's flattering. There you go.
Yeah, tell us a
I'd
little
let
bit
whatever
about
you wanted.
Tell us a little about your show. I love your show, but a lot of these people, they're Americans and they haven't seen the show. And they don't know anything about it. So tell them a little bit about you.
Y'all should totally watch. So the show is called The Alexandra May Music Cafe, and big thank you to IBM and the team who've allowed me to have the show on this really cool network. So thank you guys. But the show is it happens every Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 9 p.m. for us here in South Africa. And it's mainly a cafe-styled chat show where I have guests that are involved in the entertainment industry. They might be musicians, they might be producers, they might be actors, they might be publishers, publicists, whatever it is, producers, anything. And we chat about the industry. We have a mini writers round, which anyone from the South or from Nashville would know that it's basically like an open mic for original music and storytelling. And we chat about how our careers are being affected by COVID, or how the industry has changed over the last couple of years. For example, I always say this, I earned my first paycheck when I was 12 years old for doing my job, which is I'm a singer-songwriter. And I earned my first paycheck when I was 12. But my entire professional career since I was 18, when I was signed to a local record label, has been only in the digital world. And anyone before me would know that there were CDs and cassettes and records before me. So we obviously chat about all of that. And last week I actually had one of my biggest shows. It was my 12th episode, and I actually had the legendary The Bluebird Cafe on my show on Sunday. Erica, who's the GM at the Bluebird Cafe, it's the cafe from the show Nashville, and Taylor Swift was discovered there. And you have a whole lot of big acts who sort of were discovered in that cafe. And I had them on my show last week, and this week I actually have 3 fantastic songwriters. The one is a lady called Jane Buck, who I've written with a number of times. She's incredible. She's written hits by Reba McEntire, and she writes with Charles Eston, who played Deacon on the show Nashville. And then I also have a guy called Jeff Cohen, who wrote the theme tune for Paw Patrol. Anyone with young kids will know what Paw Patrol is. And then I have a wonderful man called Phil Barton, who wrote the theme tune for Bob the Builder. And so I have them on my show this weekend.
That's awesome.
Yeah, great show, and the thing is, you got to tune into it. Now, the good thing about IBM TV, if you want to see the Bluebird Cafe, it's apparently Ankit, they're still on IBM TV. In other words, you can watch it. So once you produce a show, if you can't catch it at the time that she's live, which is Sunday at 3 o'clock Eastern time, you can go watch it afterwards. And I did notice that our demographics, people continue to watch these shows afterwards. And then you can also, what they call, when you just watch one after the next, binge watch one after the next, because of all the sick people here that are suffering from COVID-19, which you well know, there's a lot of them here.
But Nick, I have to say, Alexandra May was unknown until she went to Nashville.
Unknown?
Unknown until she went to Nashville.
Until she went to Nashville. Well, the thing is, she needs to get to Hollywood. We're working to get her to Hollywood because we know that all the talent in the world, according to Henning Morales, is within a 10 square block of Hollywood. Okay.
Who'd have thunk, right? Who'd have
Yeah,
thunk?
who would have known that? So yeah, who would have known that?
That's why you come on Smart TV.
That's Smart TV. It says everything's through Hollywood. So for those who have tuned in a little late, we have Ankit from New Delhi, who is the director of IBM TV, Alexander May, who runs Alexander May's Musical Cafe, Doug Crow, who does the book show, or will be doing the book show, Dude and Action Tam. Is it Action or Acton? Anyway, they run the Action.
You better get it right.
They're actually professional actresses and actors and singers. They're actually really good at what they do, except they live in the wrong city. They live in Johannesburg. Once they move to the United States, they'll be stars.
Nathan, we're going to Hollywood. Nathan, Tam, we're going to Hollywood. Okay,
I know,
guys?
yeah, that's the whole idea, is to get you guys over to Hollywood. And then we have Jim Eade, who's the head of the Eade Foundation, and also wrote the book Chess for Dummies. And Brandon Stewart runs the Travel Channel, who travels all over the world until he got shut down by COVID-19. So he's stuck in St. Petersburg, Florida, doing absolutely nothing. And when they do nothing and they're good for nothing, they come here on IBM TV. And then there's Lynn Shepard, who just joined us from the Dollar Store, our sponsor. Now, how we run our sponsors, in case you don't know, this is commercial-free television, which is really great, except we got to have commercials. So we don't really have commercials. Instead, we beam in Lynn, who then gives us a commercial about the Dollar Store. And to give you an idea about the Dollar Store, because we do have a sponsor, I got my stuff from the Dollar Store just the other day.
I haven't got my stuff yet, Lynn. I'm very disappointed.
I know.
I got this.
Alexander, you have to order and come here to Nashville, and because we only deliver, and I know you like to come to Nashville, but you know, we have great products, and I know you know we have great products. But let me tell you about the most important thing. My family owns a family dollar store. We're an online store. Our link is there. You can see it in the banner, family.dollarstore.com. We're a supporter of Money Masters PBS. Money Masters PBS is the owner of IBM TV. It's a not-for-profit, which has a mission of narrowing the gap between poverty and financial sustainability. We love that mission. We really do. And I'm going to bet that regardless of where you're from, because some of you are from South Africa, the rest of us are from here in the States, except Ankit, but I'll bet you that none of us have had financial education in school, because unfortunately our schools don't give us any kind of financial education. So when Nick started Money Masters, that was his mission, and we love the mission. Our online dollars, so we're giving 100% of our profit to Money Masters through the month of August. Normally we give 50% of our profit, but now we're giving 100%. A couple of other things. We deliver only here in the United States, unfortunately, Alexandra, and you know this, but we're gonna take care of that at some point. But we deliver right to your door, unless you live in Bernathen, Pennsylvania, which is where I live, a small community where there is no mail delivery. So I have to go to the post office, which I did yesterday, and I got another box of face masks. And if Kimberly were here right now, she would love this. She would love this because I got my Minion napkins, which are Kimberly's favorites. And for those of you who are chess fans, we also have CBD patches. They have lidocaine in them. And when Jim basically plays Sasha, who's not here today, Jim has a lot of pain, so he puts one on his head just before he plays Sasha, because he knows he's going to have pain. And as Kimberly would tell you, if you anticipate you're going to have pain, be proactive and put it on and prevent it. Okay. But the other thing that for those of you who do play chess, you probably also know it's very, you can get tendinitis by moving those heavy chess pieces. So you need to put it on your arm. And besides being facetious, and I'd love to needle Jim, the fact is we have 4,300 items on the store. Okay, 4,300 items. If Mark were here today, Mark Lee, I know he's gotten to around 4,127. He asked me the other day if we have hammocks, and I said, Mark, look at the last 173 rather, because you might find a hammock, not. But anyway, so I know it's hard to get through 4,300 items, but we have great items. We actually have some stuff that the ladies would like. They get rid of the lines in your face. Okay, we have it for $4.99. Oh, wait a minute, Jim wants to use it too. Okay. Anyway, we have it for $4.99. Amazon sells it for $67 plus $4 in shipping. So if you buy $25 of stuff from us, you get free shipping, okay, right to your door. So think about it this way. There's a win-win-win. Number one, you don't have to go out. You don't have to expose yourself to COVID. Number two, we're cheaper, okay? Number three, basically the money you save, you can invest, which is very important. Number four, you're supporting the missions of Money Masters PBS. And there are probably, Jim, I know you help me out all the time, so I know there are others that I probably have missed.
Well, but I've got one thing I do have to say. You mentioned the word cheap, and there's nothing cheap on
no. We're less expensive. Sorry, Jim. Slapped me in the face a few times.
So Glenn, you're a great salesperson. I just saw it while you were talking. I signed up for an account, and I got my shopping cart filled up right now.
Good for you, Doug. Good. No, so here's what's going to happen.
Getting a lidocaine patch from my dad. Thank you.
Okay. He must be a chess player.
No, he's just 95 on Friday. He needs.
Yeah. God bless
happy
your dad.
birthday.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So here's the thing: if somebody signs up to become a customer, and actually don't have to sign up to become a customer, all we have to do is send people emails and say, here are $5 worth of gift tokens, because we have a rewards program, and it's sort of like having a gift card to go to Target or to CVS or to Bed Bath & Beyond. You get the gift tokens immediately by becoming a customer. You get $5 worth of gift tokens, but Jim has them, Nick has them, Kimberly has them, Ankit has them, and we can send them directly to the people. And as soon as they then sign up to become a customer using the same email address, they actually will get an additional $5 worth of gift tokens. So Doug, you should have gotten 5. I'll make sure you get sent another 5, and just sign up. But here's the other thing. So Alexandra, you can sign up to become a customer, and you can send gift tokens to your friends here in the United States. Okay.
Oh, can you do that?
Yeah, you can do that. So
you have friends in the United States?
You have friends in the United States, Alexander?
Yeah, I do.
Well, she's got one.
Like you and Taylor Swift, I forgot.
Oh, that's right.
Oh no, but she's got one.
She does now. We'll have to expect some of the tokens coming into my email.
There you go.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So,
and my PayPal is.
And here's the other thing. You can actually go on the website. You can order for your friends here in the United States, and you can go ahead and buy for them. So, for instance, Ankit has a sister who lives about 20 miles from me here in Pennsylvania. He can just go ahead, sign up. He has signed up as a customer, and he can have stuff shipped to his sister. And when he does, he can use the gift tokens that he has, and he can get basically he can ship for less. So think of this. Here you have 50 face masks. Okay, they are surgical, or they're medical face masks. Okay, so they're basically 95% efficient in keeping COVID away from you or from the people that you speak with. And by the way, there's a lot of difference between the masks because a lot of the cloth masks are less than 10%. And these are 95% efficient, okay? 50 of them for $25. You don't have to buy anything else. So you get them delivered to your house or to your friends, okay? And I just bought some for some friends of mine, which is why I have them here. But the point is, you can have them delivered to them, cost you $25. But oh, by the way, since you have $5 worth of gift tokens, it's really only going to cost you $20. So, you know, what can be better than that? And you're supporting Money Masters PBS, and that's the important part. Okay,
Yeah.
so there you
I
go.
have to do the math, Lynn. I can get 50 masks for $25. Let me think.
What, Jim? For $20, dude, that makes it even harder for you.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to use my pen and pencil.
He can't do the math.
40 cents a mask, Jim.
Oh,
At
thank you.
$20 when you
Save me
use
a
your
lot of work.
tokens. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the other thing is,
Important
if you don't
education.
want to buy 50 masks, we also have a box of for 10 for $6. So Jim, now you do that math. It's going to be a little bit more expensive. Okay.
I did that the other day. Let me find. Oh yeah, $1.66.
There you go. No, 10 for $6. No,
it's
it's going to be 66 cents.
66 cents. Yeah.
That's
why
why Jim.
I said.
That's
right.
why Jim's a chess player, not a
what I-
mathematician.
No, yeah, he didn't do well at math. He had to go play chess and et cetera. You know. Well, the thing is, I've talked to Alexander May and Dude and the action team. They're all moving to Hollywood, so then they can buy all the stuff from the dollar store.
Yeah.
You know, so they're going to bring South Africa into the good old USA, right?
You know how much a dollar is worth in South Africa?
No, I have no
Tell
clue.
me.
No, we're going to have
19 rand. So that means you can buy quite a lot with 19 rand, actually.
Really?
Oh, you couldn't do the math either.
Quite a lot with 19 rand. Is that the currency you have is rand over there?
Yeah.
Don't you have gold? I thought everybody has gold over there.
Yeah, we don't stop it around. We don't step underneath our beds, under our mattresses.
When we ride our lions to work.
Oh, okay, there we go. Now you're talking.
I ride an elephant.
You ride the elephant. You ride the lions.
I'm believing them.
Okay. All right. Now I'm starting to make sense. You ride lions. You ride elephants.
Why do you think Brandon wants to come here so badly?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Too many times. I'm ready.
Yeah, he's not ready.
But he has a
lion.
pod. Now notice he's got a pod microphone, and so does Doug. They have pod microphones.
I even have fancy ear things that you can't see when I get really professional.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Wow.
Because I don't want to have like muffins, but I want to be the silent ones like they have on TV. You know, they can't even see these things.
Yeah.
Well, Dude and Action Tam, you must have friends in Hollywood because you've been rubbing elbows with people all the way. So you can just sign up and send them.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you don't, you will. Okay.
And these writers.
Yeah.
South Africans.
Yeah. If you don't, you will. We'll connect you with all the Hollywood people. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that shouldn't be a big problem.
So
we've got to run though. But thanks so much for having us, Nick. It's been an
yes.
honor.
All right. Thank you. Yes.
guys.
Right.
Nick,
Have you guys met Henning Morales yet? Our Hollywood producer comes on at noon.
He's very cool. Yes, I have.
very
I've
cool.
met
He's
him.
Okay,
from
you've
LA.
met them. You guys will met them. Okay, yeah, but we got to do is hook you up with more Hollywood producers. I believe Wes Elder. You've had him on your show too, Alexander.
I had him on my show. He's very cool as well. Yeah.
Yes.
A couple of my college roommates are in the business too. I can certainly give them a call if you like.
Right. Yeah. Because you got to get to know these Hollywood types because everything happens in Hollywood.
That's why we care.
And before Tam and Nathan leave, I will just play Alexandra's upcoming show on 19th of July.
Okay.
I ain't no typical girl. I ain't no typical girl. I ain't cheerleading wild. The boys they ballers. Ain't no typical girl. I'm on a deep side there in the middle of the night.
Nice.
Sunday at 3:00. Be there. Okay, that's what it is, right?
I will. Thank you.
It's a great show. I've watched it a couple of times,
Right.
and I really
Thank you,
think it's a great show.
It is a great show. Yes, right.
Wonderful.
Yep.
And if you miss it, you can watch the replay. So
You can.
yep.
You
so
can.
And
some
Alexandra,
Monday
if
through
you
Friday.
learn to play chess, I'll fall back in love with you.
Oh, that's true.
No. We've had this debate, and I on live television. I said to Jim, I will read his book, Chess for Dummies, and I will become a chess for dummies champion, and I challenge him to a chess match.
Ooh.
Thing.
That
So-
makes TV right there. Yeah.
Okay.
Right
See,
there.
that
And
will
like-
bring our
like-
ratings up
Dummies.
sky high.
Just for
I
dummies.
just
I gotta go.
I
I'll
just
see you guys
haven't gone
later.
out to the store
All right.
yet. I'm a bit nervous to walk into a bookstore, to be honest. I'm
Right.
just a bit nervous to walk into a bookstore, but I will do it as soon as I get the I might have to walk into a bookstore with like a full on suit, and then
Well,
go
I
get
don't
your
know
book
if
and then
in
come
South
out.
Africa, can you order from Amazon?
I'm such a silly person. I've never really done online stuff because see now again, this is a TIA, this is Africa. And usually when I order things online, because I live in the countryside on a plot, we don't have a really great address where people can like deliver things. We don't even have like a post office like that's working.
Don't
near
you
us.
just hop on a giraffe and go,
Yeah.
get
Yeah,
some-
but you see, my giraffe is currently pregnant, so I can't ride her. But usually I would.
She's
But like
sheltering in
that's the
place.
thing. Yeah. So otherwise, I totally would like order from Amazon. But I might just give it a bash and just like hope that it comes. I'll let you know like in 2 years' time when it does arrive.
All right.
Okay,
Well,
so-
next time
so
you make it to Nashville, I'll give you a signed copy.
All right.
Oh,
That's a promise.
that would be amazing. That would be absolutely incredible.
TIA stands for This is Africa.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Right. Okay, so that's what you say when you go, hey, you got to get on the giraffe or,
Yeah.
you know,
I know what
TIA.
dodge
TIA
the
stands
lions
for,
and stuff like that.
I got a new one.
All right.
No, dude, and Action Tam, you guys got to go. But it was such a
Yeah, such a pleasure. Yes, right. Yeah, I love your show, by
you
the way.
guys are talented. You got
Yes.
talent coming out of your ears.
Yeah, we got to get you to Hollywood because that's where all the real talent
That's
lies.
where it's all happening.
And Nathan, I think we should start a Swing City on IBM TV as well if you have time.
A what?
Cool.
Start Swing
Yeah.
City.
Oh, Swing City. Yeah, right. I mean, the music was great. Go find out who those people were and see if we can get them on. Okay. Yeah, they were really good.
Well, they might know them.
They might know them. They all know each other. They're in Johannesburg.
It's just
Everybody
all
knows each other.
right? It was. I saw it on the Globe. It's a kind
Yeah,
of.
I saw it. Yeah, it's a tiny little thing right over here, way over here. Yeah, I found it. There
That's
it
the
is.
guy, Nick.
Little dot.
Nick, this is the guy who did the song.
All right. Get
Okay.
him.
All right. Yeah, get him. Yeah, see if you can find him. We'll get him on.
He's
Yeah.
got talent
I
too.
think Alexander's done some gigs with him.
Yeah, right. Because South Africa does have talent, I think. Right.
Yeah,
know,
we even have the
Wonderful.
South Africa's Got Talent.
They even have a television station, from what I understand. I mean, that's incredible.
That's
You
big.
know?
time.
Just like that. Are you kidding me? Unreal. You guys have
And-
radio too, I bet. Radio, yeah.
And
And
also
they,
Yeah.
they speak English. And they speak English.
Well,
How they learned
we
that.
try to. We try to.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Have you
amazing.
guys ever heard the Click song?
Sorry.
Wait.
Have you guys ever heard the Click song from South Africa?
Song? No, I don't even know what you're
No.
talking about. What
So there
clip?
was a very famous South African singer called Miriam Makeba who wrote a song called the Click Song, which they used to sing at weddings and celebrations.
Mhm.
Do you know it, Alex?
Do you know this?
You do- I love this song and I click all the time, but everyone loves me when I do it. So you do it, Nate.
Well, Alexander May is the
I-
most famous singer
I wanted
in
to chorus, but
South
the
Africa,
verse-
the United States right now. Everybody knows
The verse-
Alexander May in the United States. No one knows anybody else over there.
No,
They're telling the
no, but
truth.
Nathan,
I found it on Google.
Nathan, sing the song. You know the song. Just sing the verse. Go for it.
So the verse goes, but it's got a lot of clicks in, and then it goes. You must listen to it. Just YouTube the Click song and give it.
And it's not. And also, I must just also put in there. It's not like we're making up a bunch of clicks. We're not like we're going for the fun of it. it's a language.
It's a dialect, yes.
It's a dialect. So
It's
a
beautiful.
beautiful piece of music.
yes. Are you
There we
finding
go.
it, Ankit?
Ankit is
There we
all over.
go.
Ankit's all over it.
We're going to love and leave you before you press play.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Guys.
Bye.
See you Sunday.
Oh.
So, is this a song?
Click song. It looks good.
Click
I can
song.
hear it.
Click it.
Click the click.
Par exemple, les gens m'appellent Myriam Makeba. Ça, c'est pas tellement, non? Mon nom, c'est Zenzile. Kamakeba, Kadbashu. Uvama ekethile nengxowa batana balomzi xa ufuna ubajabulisa ubathengela ibhotile yotywala. Les colonisateurs de chez nous en Afrique du Sud appellent cette chanson click song parce que eux, ils ne se battent comme Antoine.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's
She
amazing.
legend. She equals legend.
Yes, I can see why. Lynn,
Yeah.
can you think of her singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game"?
I don't know about that. The real question is always who owns the rights to these songs, because this happens with Facebook all the time because we stream through Facebook and all these little places. And then every now and then the Facebook police, I don't know if you know this, Alexander, they'll pick it up and go, oh, John Jones owns the right to that song that you just,
Yeah.
okay, and we're going to delete that section out of your stuff. They do it automatically through computer programs. And even today we ran those two songs, even though the gentleman who was there may own the rights because he was on our show. It doesn't matter because the AI machine will pick it up and they're going to cut those songs off. Now, when you run your original songs, it's not a problem. Okay.
Well, it's not necessarily a problem. So there's two sides to this, and on one side, on one hand, I agree that Facebook is protecting the music because it's how we make our money.
Yes.
And like it's literally by somebody using my song in something, I should get paid for that because that's my work. And as the songwriter, or as the person that if I own all the rights to that song, as one songwriter on the track, I earn that. That's me. That's my money. Or I wrote it and somebody else sang it. That's my money and it's their money. But on the other hand, it's slightly weird when you're doing a live show on your own Facebook page,
right,
singing your own music,
right, and you get
Facebook
deleted.
Right. Like that's where it comes in. So I get that there's a bit of a problem, but usually, like with YouTube, they will notice something and they'll send you an email or a note and they'll say XYZ, there's a problem, and then you can then justify why you've done it, or you can prove you've bought the rights or whatever it is. Facebook just immediately takes it off, which is, again, like, I get it. And then I've got friends that have literally have had their music taken down. Fortunately, I've got a whole lot of songs that I've just written that are just in my bank that I will just like sing instead of singing a bunch of like covers, which is somebody else's song. So I prefer to sing my own music that I perhaps haven't released, or I've only released a few singles, and I'll say that, and that sort of saves the heartache, I guess.
Right. No, you got it.
That gets super frustrating. I have to ask Alex, do you ever, this happened to me, I make content on YouTube, do you ever have someone where you'll post something that may have something that's copyrighted in one of your your maybe a song or piece of content, and it'll get flagged and taken down, and then you'll see someone else use your content in another video or on Instagram or on Facebook, and you're like, how did my own stuff get flagged? And now you're stealing my content.
Oh man, it's so confusing. I don't know. I don't know.
Weird. It's a weird machine.
It is. I think like
you have a head for business too. You have not only the talent musically, but you also have a head for business.
Thank you.
So
Thank you. I didn't try.
You can, but it's just insanely regulated. That's the problem.
Yeah.
There is one more thing basically. If you put anything on Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media, that content is owned by that company as well, because you are volunteering that content to them, and because of that content, they're creating a lot of traffic and they're getting a lot of money, and from that they will be sharing some money to you as well. If you're eligible for the prerequisite of those companies. So like on IBM TV, we do a lot of distribution with Facebook and YouTube. But once we finalize our prerequisite eligibility with them, so they will sign a contract with us. And likewise, they are with all the big companies right now, and then they will go slowly with all the small companies. So if Alexandra is releasing a song or they have a tie with IBM TV, and now she wants to sing a song on YouTube. So, but IBM TV has a contract with Facebook, so automatically the policing will capture the song, and they wanted to stop it because we have a tie with IBM, and IBM has a tie with Alexandra. So it's like that only, and they don't know. I mean, we have a manual understanding of type as well. So there are a lot of things around, and that is what music royalty is all about. And you have to be careful because now royalties are not in terms of country or distributorship. It's more about digital royalty. So if you are partnered with Facebook, you can't be partnered with YouTube. It's like that. So if you are on Spotify, you can be on Apple Music, but you can't partner with them basically. So there are only one partner and multiple broadcasters.
But it's all politics. It's all politics, and I think the reality is that back in the day, and this is just the thing of this new world. And like I said before, I released my very first single when I was 18 years old, and it went to #1 in South Africa. And I've only experienced this digital space, and I've only experienced dealing with these challenges, and every day the industry is changing every single month. The entertainment industry, whatever you want to label as entertainment, is changing every single month, and you can't read one book, you have to read 2 million books. But
every single day it changes.
So when you talk about YouTubers and Instagram, they have their own top 10 YouTubers on Instagram around the world, and the top YouTuber company in the world is Indian company, which is known as T-Series. And YouTube pay them around $100 million every year because that company is creating a lot of content for YouTube, and that's why they're getting a lot of business, and then that company is getting royalty, and that is a musical company in India. They have more viewers than anyone else in the world. So it's more about money basically. At the end of the day, it's more about money and how much you can generate money to someone. Nick, there's a case in USA where a person filed or a person sued Facebook that Facebook is using the content of that person and getting more likes and more traffic on all those stuff. So, and that case was on some of your code basically. And then the judge decided that because of that person, so that person created a list of algorithms that I have posted this thing. And then this posting, there's a lot of engagement on Facebook, and you get a lot of new subscribers on Facebook. And that's how you generate more business. So at the end of the day, Facebook paid some dollars to that company, and then they have revised their privacy laws to make sure that whatever content you put in, that is Facebook content. So it's
so crazy
because I don't.
It's so crazy complicated.
Yeah, I don't understand a fraction of what you just said, and thank God you understand it. But I must say that maybe, Nick, we should stop pushing Hollywood and start pushing New Delhi.
I was thinking they have Bollywood there, so maybe Alexander May, you should turn the plane, go the other way to Bollywood, because and what you do is you tell them I'm from Hollywood. They don't know. And they go, because they love Hollywood over there in Bollywood. Oh, she's a Hollywood actress.
No, Nashville might even punch your ticket.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you something. In Bollywood, there are a lot of foreign actors who come and do all kinds of music, dancing, and all those acting stuff. Because in some of the movies we require foreign actors as well. So there are quite a few foreign actors, and they are millionaires, and they're doing good in Bollywood as well.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the Bollywood section of Netflix is popping. At least the ones we have available in the States.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's like my go-to. I'm gonna order one of those on a Friday night. I'm gonna put on like a teen musical drama, some horrible teen Bollywood soap opera, and that's my Friday night. So I'll join you there, Alexander. You and me we're heading to Bollywood.
Bollywood.
Cool.
Right. Yes.
Cool.
Right.
Your Friday nights aren't what they used to be, are they?
Hey, the coronavirus has changed a lot.
Yes.
It's what can I say?
Yeah, I know it is. It's expanded everything internationally. You know, it's crazy. They yesterday we were watching a movie from Denmark. It was actually sponsored by the government, a whole series. Okay, the Sonnenberg, whatever they call it, murders, and it was out of Denmark, and the whole country just sponsored the whole thing. In your neck of the woods, they actually have. We're starting to get some from. I think Netflix bought 120 million African films. Believe it or not, they're spending that much money to buy African films. And so what you're seeing is more of the film industry consolidate on an international basis. You know, more and more.
Probably.
But that doesn't.
I think it comes from those streaming industries. You're seeing, you know, that there's a couple of great podcasts I listened to about the kind of the start of Netflix and how it changed in Hollywood.
Right.
You know, now it's no longer, you know, you produce the films in the studios in LA. It's, you know, these big streaming companies and Apple TV and Hulu and HBO Go and Netflix are all competing. So now they're buying content from all over the world. The market's really, you know, opened up there.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, that's the advantage of what you're doing. In other words, you can scale it. So let's say that Alexander May puts on a production in South Africa. She can then distribute it all over the world. And you get unbelievable scale, which a lot of industries you can't scale. If you open up a restaurant, like the Bluebird Cafe in Nashville, right? Okay, great restaurant maybe, but look, you can't sell that food to people in Johannesburg. It can't be scaled. I'm sorry.
You could, because the thing is, and this is where I have to demonstrate.
Here comes
like,
the business lady's gonna get
Let's
me.
go to stores.
Okay, let's hear about how you're gonna get the Bluebird in Johannesburg.
No, do you know what the thing is? Is that there's this wonderful world called branding. And if you can brand and find your target market and people dig that, you can sell your stuff anywhere. I'm a South African and I sell my country music back to South Africans who don't even listen to country music, and I sell it to country people that listen to country music. So it all depends on the branding. So I know that if a Bluebird were to open up here in South Africa, oh my gosh, we would have a storm on our hands, because like they would die. They would love it. People that dig country music. Same with like people that like love Bollywood. Can you imagine somebody opening up a Bollywood theater in the middle of LA? People would die. They would love it, because it would be like, wow, we love it. If you find the right people, if you find the right niche, if you have the right branding, you can do anything. Look at Lynn. Look at Lynn. I'm a South African. The dollar does not exist in my life because I'm a South African. I live off rand, and $1 equals 18 rand. Yet I love the dollar store, and whenever I go to the dollar store in America, I love the dollar store, and I come back and I wish I had the dollar store here.
So hang on. So hang on. We're going to have a rand store.
There you go.
No,
Can
we not do that? No,
Moderation.
No,
You
can we
gotta
not do
do,
that? Let's not do it.
it's gotta be like
It should be dollar
lands.
store, but the payment should be with rand. It should be dollar store, but the payment should be with rand.
The rand would then it would mean that if $1 equals 18 rand, if we have the rand store, then everything will have to be minus by 18%.
Oh, good point.
But how does that work? Don't do it.
Yeah.
In other words, you'll lose money.
Yeah, we're not inexpensive anymore. We're cheap.
It will become an expensive operation, but the dollar store. I mean, just if you look at branding, you can sell anything. You can sell, like, I mean, yeah. I think so. That's why I disagree with you, Nick. But you know that I love you, so it's fine.
I'm not.
But I politely disagree.
Oh, well, no. What you're saying is you can export the brand over there and create the Bluebird Cafe Johannesburg,
Yeah.
It's like franchising. And
you know,
digital
franchising, I agree with. Over here, there's this place called Duck Donuts. Okay.
Ooh, yeah.
And what they did, it's in Duck, North Carolina. They franchised it all over the country, you know. And the thing is, and one of my clients founded Dunkin' Donuts. I don't know if it ever made it to South Africa. Dunkin' Donuts is very famous here.
No, but I love Dunkin'. Oh my
Dunkin'
gosh, I
Donuts
love
every
Dunkin'
day.
Donuts.
Really? Okay. My
Dunkin'
client literally is.
Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks are more popular outside America than in America.
Yeah, my client's name was William Rosenberg. He was the founder of Dunkin' Donuts.
Wow,
Okay. He actually
that's so
founded
cool.
the whole company years ago. He's dead now. So, but you know, I knew him when he was alive. It was kind of interesting.
Can I just add in there, Nick? I do get what you're saying though. But see, I get what you're saying when it comes to like an industry being able, having the potential to grow bigger than what it really is. Because even if I do believe that brand and finding the right target market and find those places where it's plugged in, you can soar. However, if you live on the interweb, you can grow bigger than anything, because you're right. As a South African, and as I know that we back during apartheid, many things were sanctioned. And if you sang about the problems in South Africa as a singer-songwriter, you would be banned from radio, television, anything. You could not produce music. You don't play live music. And even then, it was like hidden shows, and nothing could come in either. But if you and because of that problem in the beginning of us trying to make it as artists in the industry in that country, it became an issue that we were always behind in standard to the world. We were always less than. You could always hear a South African song on the radio versus an international song on the radio, and that was a problem. But now the skill level is being up, so we're actually able to compete on that international stage. So now, because of Netflix and because of Netflix buying certain films and projects, we're now able to get our work out across onto an international stage, and it's just as good. So I do agree with you in that. We're actually there is so much space to boom and to grow, because you're now given the opportunity to do that.
Right. And that was my theory on IBM TV, which was kind of an accident because we start off with Money Masters PBS, working with PBS, which, by the way, is one of the top 5 broadcasting networks in the United States.
Right.
What they don't tell you is how they're organized and disorganized, and it's actually run by educational schools here in the U.S. And our goal is to promote financial literacy, doing a financial literacy course. But you'd have to go to literally, you have to physically go to 300 general managers to get your show on the air, which would take years. Okay. And then we're working with IBM. And the thing is, IBM had the same issue is how could they get content out? And then the OTT programming come out. In other words, doing IBM TV. So about a year ago, we launched IBM TV, and frankly, it's growing pretty fast, but we have a reach of 4.3 billion people the way we're doing it. Now, we do know there's been some problems in certain countries, China and Russia, but we have people working on those projects to get us into Russia, get us into China. China, we're actually making more progress on than we are in Russia right now. Russia requires all this paperwork to be filled out for somebody to broadcast on StreamYard. Okay, China, you just have to kind of work through their system to get in. But India is one of the great places where you can instantly get 1 billion followers, like Ankit has 1.3 billion followers. I mean, because the country is so large in terms of the amount of people that live there, you know, so the opportunities on a global basis are so much greater than they are just in the United States of America, although the people here believe that nothing goes beyond here. You know, so like, and you know that because you've come over here, you've been to Nashville, and they say, you're from where? South Africa.
You also have an ace up your sleeve in China with Holmes. So he can.
That's true, right? Yeah, one of the people that we're working with is actually the chairman of the American International Chamber of Commerce, Holmes Stoner.
Wow.
And matter of fact, he knows Henning Morales really well. After we'll find out, all these people know each other. It's very interesting. And
way back, we just didn't tell you.
Oh yeah, we didn't tell you that one, did we? No. Yeah, we have some moves on the chessboard we still haven't played, and then we have the dean of the Yale University Business School, and the dean of the University of Illinois Business School. Now, the dean of the University of Illinois has been on quite often because they offer one of their programs. They offer several of them solely through the internet today. Okay, and so the thing is, they're learning to reach a global. Now, Alexander, when you talk, it sounds to me that you've had business courses. Or how did you learn all this about business? Yeah, because you're business smart. And a lot of the people I see that are in talent, they're talent only. And they're going to hone their skills to be actors or actresses. But there's a business aspect, production, distribution, directing. And I'm trying to figure out, how'd you learn all that stuff?
Yeah. What's your secret, Alex?
You know what the thing is, like my parents, I'm very blessed and very lucky. My parents are both incredible business people. My dad has had a company. We turned 21 this year, so we've had the same company. We're quite successful here in South Africa, and my mom has owned businesses her entire life as well. So I'm quite lucky to have grown up with that. And they're both musical, so it was like, you know. But I entered this industry when I was so young. I was before I was a teenager, and you are taken advantage in the worst way. You are taken advantage of as a young person in the industry, and then as a young girl in the industry, you're taken advantage of. And the only way you can actually hold your own is by studying up and being completely aware of everything around you, and not about having the right answers, but it's about knowing where you stand on certain things, and then learning to keep quiet when you don't know where you stand. So
wow.
So that's what I've sort of learned. And when it comes to business, I've literally been in the industry for so long that it's now just become like word vomit. Right.
That's called the School of Hard Knocks here.
Yeah, the School of Hard Knocks. Now you do know there's a guy. I used to live in a place called Seattle, Washington. Okay, because my wife's family was
place. Yeah.
My wife's family was a good friends of a guy named Marilyn Gates. Anyway, her son was a guy named Bill Gates, and her father was a guy named Bill Gates Sr. True story. And as a matter of fact, she went over crying when Bill Gates fell. Actually, he dropped out of Harvard, and she went over to my aunt's place and just cried, "Oh, yeah, Bill's leaving from Harvard. What's going on?" They lived in a place called Laurelhurst. Okay, so here's a true story about Billy Boy. So Bill was writing software code, and it was good, but not great, just like everybody who becomes great. But there was a guy named Tim Patterson at Seattle Computer Works who wrote a place called Quick and Dirty Operating System, otherwise known as QDOS. And Bill asked Paul Allen, "Hey, we should just buy the program for him," because his mother sat on the board with IBM. Okay, and they needed a software program to put into their new computer called the PSS1. So he goes, "Okay, well, how much do you want?" $25,000. Ah, shoot, that's a lot of money for a software program. Hey, but we really need the program, so they bought the program. Then he went to Dad. "I got this program. We're working with IBM. What should I do?" He said, "Oh, you don't want to sell it to him. License to him, stupid." Okay, and the thing is, he was a partner at the law firm of Preston, Gates, and Ellis. Seriously. Okay, so Bill goes, "Okay, what we'll do is we're not going to sell it to you. It'd be too expensive. We're just going to license this thing to you. What's it called? MS-DOS, Microsoft DOS."
Who'd have thunk, right?
The rest was history.
But it's also a cautionary tale, because kids don't drop out of school because Bill Gates is a professional. So,
well, yeah.
And also, he knew people. This is like Alex's story.
Oh, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Okay, look, here's the deal. His dad was a law partner at Preston, Gates, and Ellis. His mom was sat on the charitable board with the IBM, okay, that was developing the system. He flew to Boca Raton. I used to live there, where they actually were doing a lot of the development work. Okay, he put the deal together, so you got to give him a lot of credit, but he also had a lot of good coaching. He knew a lot of people. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's one reason I look at talent. I go, wait, you can have the best talent in the world in South Africa, but if you can't get outside of that box, you live and you will die in Johannesburg.
And that is wherever that is, yeah.
Wherever that is.
We're
Brandon
real
hasn't even
downtown.
been there, and he runs a travel channel. He's been everywhere.
You should totally do it. You should totally do a thing here.
Brandon's looking on a map. Where's that South Africa?
I'm like, I gotta Google it. Like,
That's what I did. Yeah.
No, I totally agree with saying though. Yeah, it's in our kind of modern time, you know, with digital media. If you're gonna have a digital media business, you absolutely have to be able to do everything. You have to be able to be, you know, at least in my scenario, on camera. You have to be able to edit. You have to be able to shoot. You know, book interviews and set up, you know, LLCs and file your taxes, as well as travel and make your contacts, as well as market and graphic design. I mean, you got to be able to do it all, and you can kind of build out, you know, more and have more assistants. But you know, it's tough at that time. Yeah,
I think that also one of the tricks to that is to not be a jack of all trades, master of none, because that shouldn't be your saying. Because I know I've had a lot of friends in the industry that will try break into a certain part of the industry, and they end up just saying, "No, I'm just a jack of all trades, but I'm a master of none." I'm like, so then flip and work at it. So then get better. Then get better. Don't be. And that also doesn't mean that you shouldn't have this wonderful word called team. There is such a thing as a team, and that's very, very important to have certain people where you're just naturally not skilled at something to actually do something, but you should still, if you don't know anything about it, then learn. And I mean, one of my I love that story that you were just telling, and it reminded me of another story about Dolly Parton, who is my queen.
Yes.
Dolly grew up. She grew up in the Misties, right? And she grew up with 9 brothers and sisters, small little town, house built of wood. You know, like not much. Her uncle taught her how to play guitar. She had nothing for her, going for her at all. But she had the savvy and the smarts about her, and she just got better at what she was doing. She learned, because being a woman and the way she looked, everything was against her. And she got smart and she got better. And she even wrote this really funny, I don't know if you know, but this really tiny little tune called "I Will Always Love You." And she wrote this little tune, and Elvis Presley wanted to sing it. Not only sing it, he wanted to buy all of the rights for the song, which means she would have sold it to him for like maybe at the time $200, which is quite a big sum back in the day. And he would have made the song a huge hit. But she held on to that song. Later, years later, she heard it on the radio by a wonderful woman called Whitney Houston, and now she's raking it in just from that little song. So it's about having the smarts about you and being savvy, and about cluing up and not having this, like Brendan was saying, is knowing you have to be the person on camera, off camera, booking the things, cameraman, you gotta know everything. Doesn't have to mean you have to be brilliant at it, but at least savvy up. You know, get better.
And you have to know how to hire that too. You know, that's the other thing. You have to know when you're doing a project. When do you go, oh, this is out of my league? I need to know it's time to spend the money to hire a graphic designer or whatever for this project. You gotta be able to
Right.
That's exactly it. And obviously Henning would know
Henning knows
way
everything.
more. I'm just like talking like,
he lives
the wind
in
is coming from the west.
Hollywood. All the talent
Yeah,
is in Hollywood.
he would know.
Within 10 miles of where Henning lives. He just reaches around and grabs all the talent.
Wow.
He doesn't go to Johannesburg for talent. Wow. He's got it all in his backyard.
Thank you, Nick. Wow.
Well, I was telling all these people from South Africa, I mean, Johannesburg, gosh, we got to look in our globe to find out where it is. Oh, there it is. It's way over here somewhere.
Well, Henning, your ears must have been burning because Nick was just pumping you up.
I was pumping you up, buddy. I was telling them the real deal, baby. If they want to be successful, they've got to go to Hollywood. Hollywood ain't going to come to them, baby. Hollywood ain't going to come to them. You know, I don't see all those people packing their bags and going to Johannesburg. They don't even know where it is. Okay, seriously. So
well, actually, if you come here, I know that a lot of big films are filmed in Cape Town, which is like down, a 2-hour flight down that way.
Freezingly cold.
Because
it's cold.
No, no.
They ain't gonna go there. It's too bloody cold.
No, Cape Town's beautiful. It really is. It's it is obviously windy during the winter. But it's winter. But during the summer, it's beautiful. It's by the ocean, and it's also being the Rand and being South African, it's also reasonable and quite cheap to film here. So there are a lot of big production places that sort of use us. But again, Henning would know more than I do.
I feel like that's.
I'm just
I don't know about the
talking right
filming there, but that's where you go for the surfing. So
Yeah,
Wow. How come I
surfing
thought
scene.
that South Africa was warm all the time? It's not?
No, we are. It is called sunny South Africa, but I think in the last couple of years it's a bit nuts. We've been hit with a few really like real cold fronts where there's
Okay.
like snow way up in the north.
Really? Okay.
And but only like on the peaks of mountain. Like we don't get snow. we get like a little bit of like icing on some of the mountain in the distance. And we look at it from afar and go, "Oh, look, we've got snow." And then we get the wind and we go, "Yeah, we got snow." But usually it's like I'm wearing this because it's nighttime outside and my toes are cold. But during the day I'm wearing a t-shirt, even though it's winter right now. But yeah.
Yeah, but you got to get used to getting on the giraffe. You got to get on the giraffe to go to school.
That's true. The transportation is
the transportation's a little different over there.
Transportation is the real thing. Yeah, I need the ladder to get up onto the giraffe. I mean, it's a whole thing. Yeah, you should actually
Hey,
get a
but the
line
thing
to that.
is, you can have the giraffe help you out with the boom. You just attach to the
Yes,
giraffe
that's
and
ugly
you're good to go.
Oh, there you go.
No,
Right.
no
Train
giraffe
it
for
to lower
harm
its
during
head down, or
the
you can just
filming
climb
of
up.
this movie.
Right, you gotta have that. So Hennings, what's happening with the dirt merchants and the scene in Hollywood, which is where all the action goes?
It's so exciting. It's exciting to see all these beautiful faces, smart people talking about strategies and creating magic in music and other realms. Right now. It's been a great week over here for my crew because first of all we have we wrapped up a production that we were working on for a while, so we're going to be off for a little bit, and we also released Rebelistic. As you all know, you all should have gotten your promo codes by now. So if you haven't, then check emails and
Kimberly gave them to us.
Okay, good. So that you can take a look at Rebelistic. I guess we'll talk about it next week. We didn't get them out until over the weekend. We want to do one more thing to this movie before it went up, and we did it, and we're happy that we did. And now it's a time for really planning the release of the next music videos. We have a new rock opera that Kay Lee has done with us. We filmed it at a 5-diamond resort in Orange County, California, where close to us. It's on a cliffside in a beautiful setting with palm trees, ocean view, the whole 9 yards. She's wearing this long flowing gown. It's really something else. We're going to show that tomorrow. And what we're doing, Nick, with these music videos, these rock operas, is we're using them as standalone pieces, but also we're using them to promote the movies. Each rock opera tells a little piece of the story. And so that is coming up tomorrow. And last but not least, just finished the final rewrite of the first draft of a new movie called Motec, which starts off in, of all places, Kaunas, Lithuania during World War II, and features two brothers, Jewish brothers who survived the Holocaust and make their way to New Jersey. And one becomes a movie mogul. The other one becomes one of the original Jewish gangsters. And it tracks them through the 50s to 1985 to the dirt merchants world. And you see how everyone connects and combines, and there's life lessons, and there's all kinds of epic 50s songs and dance numbers and all kind of things to work on. So that one's
one of them was going to become the Four Seasons, but no, you went in a different direction.
No, they're not. They don't become the Four Seasons. No, they become everything is like next level in terms of the music in this. The original mob controlled music studio, Sound Candy Studios. It was formed back then, and then we have the formation of Sweet and Sour Studios in 1977. We see how that works, and then the rival studios and all the potential the potential for violence, but all this creative and exciting music. So just finished that, and right now it's a question of really just getting these films out there and starting to plan for what's next.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Hank, you changed the names to protect the innocent, didn't you? I mean,
names of the studios?
No, the names of the people who came to New Jersey.
Yeah, well, yes, we did. We changed all the names, and the gangster, the two Jewish gangsters, the Jewish gangster and then the Jewish movie mogul. They're both based on real people.
I know. I could tell it. I could tell. Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because it's hard sometimes to say who it is, because sometimes I combine 2 or 3 true stories.
Okay.
There was a movie mogul, and again, the names escape me right now. I have my notes in front of me, but he was they called him the Boy Wonder, but that was back in like the 30s. And then there was another mogul that came on later that y'all know who that story is. And I kind of combined those two because I didn't want this to take place in the 30s, so I kind of combined those.
Is it Steve Wynn or is it Donald Trump who are these moguls?
No, wrong era.
Don't
go there. No Trump references in these movies at all.
Hey, I got to ask you this because you're obviously talented. That's coming out of your ears, but you're also, because you just told us a story about didn't want to release this last movie until you did this certain tweaking of over the weekend, and so are you a perfectionist as well?
I think that is it's kind of a loaded word. Perfectionist meaning do I want everything to be exactly right? Yes. And but you sometimes you're limited with resource. You're limited to what you could do. You would love to do it this way, but you're limited to do it this other way. So as far as the way we shot this movie or these movies, really, they're all in that same category. We shoot it the best that we possibly can, and then we make each frame as perfect as it possibly can be. And you want to do that because, first of all, I owe it to the group who has been backing us and believes in the end product. See, if you always remember who brought you to the dance, right?
Yeah.
And
that's the one who brought you.
I feel an obligation, and also there's this film, we want people to really enjoy it. So you do it for both reasons: the people that made the movie happen, and the people who are watching the movie. And really for me, and I've talked about this before with you guys, it's about watching it the 3rd or 4th time. I'm interested in the 3rd or 4th time that you're going to watch this, that you still love it. And that to me is what makes a great film, when you can watch it several times. You don't need to watch it several times in a row, but let's say you can put it down and come back a year later and enjoy it again and still feel like it's a good film. And when that doesn't happen is when you watch it the second time and you're like, oh man, I just saw the boom in the frame. That stinks. That one line that was just the cheesiest line ever. And the first time I saw it, I let it go. But the second time, man, I'm not going to let that go. So you take out the things that won't stand the test of time. And also, you want to make it just right. And that's where, I know you guys were talking earlier about having a team and relying on the other members of your team and knowing when to just stay in your lane and when to jump into somebody else's lane. It's an intuition. And these things these ideas and the input comes from screening. We show it and being open to criticism. So there was one thing that was kind of bugging us along the way, and we decided to fix it. And we had to create something new, and we put it in, and it works. And I'm glad that we did it. And now, in my opinion, this film is the best that it could possibly be. And if somebody really loves it and they watch it again down the road, they're going to love it again.
And they'll probably pick up on details that they didn't get the first time.
you always that always happens. There are so many sub stories and subplots and little looks that people give each other, and you don't notice it the first time or second time. You start to notice, and also remember, with this is one film out of 10 movies, and so you want also to kind of tease people a little bit with hints from other movies, and so you guys will catch it the second and third time around, like, oh man, he's referring to so and so from movie 3, without, as we have also talked about, without leaving people hanging. Like,
sounds like a Marvel production. That's what they do in Marvel. I mean,
yes,
they do it all the time.
Family cameo.
I learned a lot from the Marvel series,
right,
in terms of how they did it. You would see, you saw Scarlett Johansson show up in Iron Man for like 5 minutes, and you're like, what was that all about?
What was that all about? Right.
And then later you see she's one of the Avengers, or what. I don't really follow it that closely, but the way they do it, the way they did it was brilliant.
Right.
And I have that's not my genre, obviously, but it's a similar track. The main difference being that in a lot of these movies, I'm using different actors to play the same characters. So that's what makes this a little bit different, in terms of, it's more like the Batman series where they had a different person playing Batman every year. Remember that? And so right now we've had 3 different actresses play Bella in 3 different movies, and out of 4 movies, 3 different actresses played the same character. So we have to kind of identify who's who. That's why we use these identifiers at the beginning of movies to tell you who's who, because you might not recognize the actor because the actor's changed. So.
Yeah, Henning, and also because of my age, I can remember seeing Annie Hall twice back in the 70s, and because I had laughed so hard the first time, I missed so much of it. But what you're talking about is a little bit more subtle than that. You're not talking about missing a joke or two. You're missing some subtle reference.
Yeah, and we want the references to be subtle. I know Ankit has a question. We want the references to be subtle because we don't want people to feel like they have to watch 10 movies to understand what's going on. And so Harry Potter did it very well.
Yeah,
Harry Potter did it extremely well. But remember, those movies were like 3 hours, 2 hours. The last 2 movies, I think, were 2.5 hours each, and it was basically a 5-hour movie. They do a good job. Did a good job of that. The Marvel series did a really good job of that. And you want to drop these subtle hints, and then it's almost a reward for the fans that are really into it. It's a reward for them where they can find the nuggets and they can find the references. And also we put the novel in a lot of scenes, and the characters are reading the book, they're holding the book. So we were going to do a contest, like how many times does the Dirt Merchants book show up in this movie?
Yeah.
and it's so funny because in one of the films, like the guy's trying to figure out, like he's got a dilemma. He's trying to figure out the problem, and he's going through this book and that book and the other one. And then finally he gets to the Dirt Merchants book, and he's reading the book. And unless you're really paying attention, you don't realize he's reading the book that is that the movie is about. And so,
you wanted to interrupt my conversation with Henning.
Yeah. And we also I put pictures. There's pictures and photo albums of me and my friends when we were teenagers. They're all over. There's pictures everywhere. There's pictures on mantles. And the pictures are of the real characters that the movies are based on. So we get old pictures of them. We put them in the different things and see if people will catch it. It's fun to do that, but it gives people who are really following and love the stories. It's giving them some nuggets to discover, and then it also, for us, it encourages people to watch the other movies to see what else happens to these people, these characters, in these other situations.
Absolutely. Ankit, jump in. I'm dominating the conversation.
That's all right. So I think what I understand is that now because of the digital media, the movie industry is also changing. And everyone wants to capture their audience, and they want to engage the audience whatever ways they can, maybe in terms of different engagements. what I wanted to know, or what I understand while researching, is that everyone wants to create some kind of, suspense, or some kind of, interest, so that that person will watch that movie second time and third time and fourth time. So as the web series as well. And also there are a lot of documentaries of those movies, how they make the movies and their backstories and all those stuff. So why don't we have a reward campaign for audience? And once they watch movie once and twice, they can answer some questions, and based on that, you will show them some backstage drama which you are not showcasing on the movie. And that way, the audience will be every time they will be engaged more and more, and then they keep on looking for what's happening, and then you can ask those questions as well.
He's always thinking, Henning. He's always thinking, write it down. Yeah, I'm writing it down too.
Because it's more about the engagement basically, and then and you won't believe. I mean, after talking to a lot of production houses, they have a lot of data which they are not able to publicly release, because they just wanted to have 2 hours of window. So maybe you have done a shooting for 5 hours, but after editing, that movie remains for 1.5 hours. So the pending work you have is all waste basically. So now how you can revise something, and then how you can.
I'm sorry, Ankit. I love Ankit's questions. They're always like 4-part questions. I'm like, I'm seeing how his mind works. Like he's going from, I gotta catch up, right? So first of all, the idea of giving people different levels of suspense in different scenes. We do that. And sometimes, there's subtleties that you can add to tell the audience that something important is happening. But I try not to do that. I try to just what show does it like at the total extreme. Remember Star Trek, the original Star Trek series? You watch. I rewatched it recently, and I have a specific reason for doing it for my movies, and how that show was shot was very innovative at the time.
Oh yeah.
But the volume, the dialogue volume is right here, and the music volume is all the way up here, right? So it's like, Spock, we have to investigate this new alien, and then it goes dun 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 dun.
And you never wanted to be the guy. You never wanted to be the guy wearing the red shirt.
Yeah.
So you ever notice that when they beam down to a planet, you didn't want to be the guy wearing the red shirt?
You know what? These are all the subtleties and this is one of the things that I'm pulling from that series, is the things that they did to make it like an iconic thing that turned into movies, it turned into action figures, it turned into multiple TV shows after the fact. So the things that they do to make it, that's kind of why I'm looking at that. Plus, it's just a very well acted show. It's extremely well acted. Leonard Nimoy and
Bones.
Yeah, Bones and all those guys. All the characters are really spot on the way they act. And then the other thing is the way that they were limited with their special effects, and they made it work. I mean, that show was done 60 years ago, and so longer, and they had very little. They have very few tools to work with. So there are things you can do, Ankit, to add suspense throughout. Ankit wants us to create alternate endings, which I'm not really ready to do that yet. And that's a nice way of me saying no, I'm not going to do that. but that's okay. That's okay, because maybe.
So my idea is to have a frontline movie and then add a lot of digital content, so that we can have more audience, and digitally we can engage them. And also, you can have a digital release and you can have your theater release, so that you have more number of things, and that could be in different manner. Once your theater release is done for a month or time, then you have a lot of other releases, so that you keep on engaging the audience, because there's a lot of data you have which you are not able to showcase to the audience. So just trying to see that how we can utilize the data.
Well,
I think I just came up with the solution. So I think I came up with a solution for both of you. I'm just going to jump in and give you the solution, because I agree with you. Alternate endings don't always work. So here's what you do. You keep the movie originally the way you want to do it, and we'll let Ankit create a game with the alternate endings, since he's also a game maker. So I think we've solved the whole problem he can do the alternate endings with the game, and then you will keep the original version. So that solves the whole problem. What do you think?
Nick is going to send me a bill for all these ideas. That'll be $8 million for the ideas you got from my show. All right, so I
think that's a great idea. By the way, and I want to hear something
I didn't want to
you kind
reveal
of
it
say
on live.
as well, Henning.
For
But
that, I have to talk to Henning separately on a Zoom call. But you have released the idea to all our live viewers.
I'm open. I like that.
We released the idea. So sorry about that. I did that to the live viewers. They now know what we're thinking. But I want to give you a shout out for mentioning Star Trek, because I am also a past Star Trek fan. And actually, I had a friend, Henning, who unfortunately has passed away, who was a original actor on Star Trek. He played Wilson in Star Trek, the original series. So he was one of the few African Americans on that show. So he played on the episodes The Enemy Within and Charlie X. So he's definitely, his son is still actually in California and is a well-known poet in that area. So he's Garland Lee Thompson the second, I believe. But he's a poet that spends his time between California and New York, where his dad was at. So definitely glad to see that Star Trek mentioned.
Well,
and
Mark, I don't know if you're on the show when Henny was talking about the limitations of their technology and their capabilities. But I was old enough to watch the original series, and I tell you, the phaser was an amazing thing to me. I couldn't believe they could put it on stun and they could put it on lethal, and it was like, and beaming down. These things were just mind blowing to me when I was a kid watching it.
And again, what I'm gleaning from the show is that they created. You mentioned the stun guns and the phaser guns, what have you, the transporting. They created several things that came out of, I guess, Gene Roddenberry's imagination or somebody's imagination that were unique to this world, and because of that, they became conversation pieces. And I do that within my films. I do it a lot, and I consciously did it from early on. I did it with the language that the slang that these kids use. It's unique to this world, and I did it in that fashion. The cars are very unique to this world. They're all it's almost like a fantasy, a teenage car lover's fantasy when we show the cars, because everyone has a cool car. Yeah. And it was never that way, really, unless you were like grew up in, again, some kind of fantasy world. There was always people with nice cars and people with junkers. And this one, everyone has a nice car, and they're all dressed up classics. And so we did those things. We kept all of the. There's no alcohol use. There's no drug abuse by the character. So these are things that are unique to this world, that we just decided we want to do this a certain way. And as far as there's a unique piece of jewelry, a necklace that's in one of the movies. There's the way that the parents and older people are non-existent. Kind of like when Charlie Brown, remember in Charlie Brown, when the Peanuts, whenever a parent talked or a teacher, we go, wah, 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 wah. Right? Because that's what kids do when parents talk, they tune out, right? So we did that. There isn't a mentor character that's older than 25 in these movies. And so I changed it up a little bit in the last one in Motec. I really did, because I took these characters through multiple generations. But those are things that creating this culture more than anything else. And again, I'm gleaning some of the things they're doing in Star Trek for ideas for what I can do in the movies that are written, but they're not actually produced yet. So that's a big one. So back to Ankit's comment. I think I have time for one or two more questions before we show you guys a trailer. As far as gamification and creating other medium for the media for this film series. I'm wide open to it. As I mentioned, we created this rock opera series, which is off the wall idea, but because Drew loved it, I went with it, and now that's becoming its own thing as well. Taking the behind the scenes footage and the true stories, and telling the true stories while we're making the movies is also something that we are very open to doing. People have communicated to me that they really enjoy hearing the actual story that the movie's based on, which part of it's true, which part of it's made up. Did these characters actually interact? And who's this Bella? Who's Bella? Like, and I said, well, Bella isn't one person. Bella is probably 30 women is in that one character. So she's got multiple sides to her, and she spans across time.
I used to know a lot of women like that.
Yeah.
Go on.
Another segue we don't need, Nick.
Go on.
The main character in Hit or Twist, her name is Sybil. So there you go. That's but she's not the one with all the personalities. So we had to have a Sybil reference. So I'm open-ended and I'm open to exploring and doing whatever it takes to create different types of media. But as was talked about earlier, I know where my strengths lie, and I know where my weaknesses lie, and I'm stay with my strengths. Just telling these stories, doing it in a movie format. Whenever we get into other areas, I just kind of let people do what they feel they should be doing, and if the creation is something cool and good, we use it. If it's not, we leave it alone.
Hey, Henning, I just wanted to say I got to commend you for the way that you're handling this with RevShare and the way that you're doing this, because I'm a fan of Black cinema and things of that nature. And there was a gentleman named Oscar Mashaw, who was kind of a founder of Black cinema and things of that nature. And what he did is he basically would go into a town and get a building and would basically rent out that building. It might be a church, it might be whatever. And then he would show his movies. And this was like in the 30s and the early days of Black cinema. Spike is actually a big fan of Oscar Mashaw, as well as being one of the early African-American filmmakers that did a lot of work. And so I'm really liking this way that you're doing this on the digital way. It's like, we're in a modern time, in the 21st century. So it's almost like you're doing a digital version of what they call black box theater. That was the nickname for doing this kind of form of theater. And it wasn't just the African-American community that did it. I mean, also it's how a lot of our traveling salesmen created their shows. A lot of people don't know this, but Amos and Andy, and I know that that's a lot of folks don't like their connotation in their history, but they actually met here in Durham, North Carolina, because they were both traveling salesmen, and they just happened to meet each other, and they also observed some of our people in our streets, and that's actually where they created their characters from, were folks that they met in Durham as traveling salesmen. So I just want to commend you for the way that you're doing this kind of creating this digital platform and almost doing like a black box theater version of it, but using RevShare as your model.
Well, appreciate that, and it's basically the concept is to build up your tribe, to build up your following, and all filmmakers. You mentioned the black box theaters, but if you study any filmmaker that is coming on the scene, that they spend a lot of time, especially these past 8-10 years. They spend a lot of time building up their following, building up their tribe, doing private things just for their people, and building it up until it takes notice. And then also, taking a risk of doing something different. Right. I commend my team for taking risks, for doing something outside of the normal way that it goes. I think over the past probably 30 years, 40 years in Hollywood, it's been very much a studio-driven medium where the independent filmmakers, it's hard to break in, but the ones that did created their own unique style, and they appealed to a certain group and built that up. And especially recently, over the past several years, there are so many talented filmmakers that that have an audience and have like this following, but they don't know how to expand it and really monetize it. And that's why we created this platform called RevShare Films to bring these new filmmakers on the scene and show them how to build up their tribe. And I think that it goes back to the basics of what you're talking about with the black box and the latest Eddie Murphy Netflix film. The name escapes me right now, but I thought that was, if somebody remembers the name of it, the one he just did, the comedy was so good. It was one of my favorite of all times, and it shows a musician, first a musician, then a filmmaker who just does whatever it takes to get his movies to his audience, and it's that's really an inspiration. And the story that you just told me about the Black Box Theater, that's inspirational. And now more than ever, because we have the tools to be able to, as filmmakers, we have the tools to be able to make these films, but also there's tools to be able to build up an audience and a tribe. And I just see a whole sea of new filmmakers that just are going to be seen now for the first time that didn't have an opportunity before. What we want to do is focus only on important stories, inspirational, motivational, transformational. That's all we want to do. We'll leave the other stuff for, everybody else. But a lot of what's coming out of these film schools, what's coming out of the festivals is very important matters. These kids today, these 20-somethings, I tell you, they want to tell important stories, and they care. Oh, yeah. They care more than we ever did as Gen Xers. We didn't really care. And I always apologize to my millennial friends and my kids. I always apologize for my own generation of how obnoxious we were and how we just went for the money, and we just went to be a yuppie, and we just wanted to have our Mercedes or our BMW or our nice house. And I never thought about anything that was conscious related when I was in my 20s. I never even thought. I was a nice person. I wanted to help somebody, but hey, what's in it for me? That's
well, Henny, what you described about the 30 years of a studio, it became formulaic. Yes. You change the wardrobes and you can change the actors, but there's still a formula to what. There was something else.
100%.
It's like summer stock theater. You get a lot of the same groupings, the same cast, and I think it's super interesting when you talk about a model, giving new filmmakers, new digital media creators a chance, because the environment now, for my generation, it's all about content. It's all about quantity and less about quality. Someone watches something you make that you may have spent years on, and they love it. Well, they want to see more, and they want to see more now. They want to go to your YouTube channel, your Instagram, your next film. They want to binge, and so the race of how do I keep up with. You stop creating that for a year or two to work on a big project. So it's always a really interesting challenge to try and build that audience and then maintain that audience. I've heard it referred to as the Rocky Horror Picture Show effect.
Well, I would, Rocky Horror, that's a whole nother. But what I would say is that if that's a question, or I think that was more of a comment than a question, but what I tell young filmmakers, I just say, just keep producing, just keep, it's like in basketball, the best shooters, they can go 0 for 10. They don't stop shooting. They just keep shooting, right? And then eventually 1 over 30 points. It's unbelievable, right? Basketball is amazing that way. Shooters shoot, producers produce. Like, keep filming. And even if you're working on, I have a lot of friends who work on big projects, but the ones I respect most are always working on the smaller stuff. People ask me, why are you're shooting a music video? What the heck? Are you working on feature films? Why are you doing that? You're doing a documentary. I went and shot a documentary on a cruise with this company last year. Why are you doing that, right? You're doing interview shows. Sometimes I grab the mic and I interview. I do all kind of things. We do behind the scenes work. There are things that you can do that continue to create content where you're continuing to feed that audience. They need content. They need to see more. It's like in music. You guys in the music business. You don't just have one song. What do they call it when you have just one song, right? One hit wonder, right?
One hit wonder.
That's it. One song isn't going to do it, right? You have to have a body of work. You have to keep producing. And so what I tell these filmmakers, do whatever you can, take whatever job you can. So what I tell the actors, you can't be picky about the roles you take. Take anything. Take what they give you. Take the money they give you, right? You're building up your body of work. Make sure that it's decent. Make sure that you're not compromising what these people are asking you to do. But take as much work as you can. You build up your reel. You build up your resume. You're giving the people who are hiring, you're giving them different looks. Man, just keep on producing, and that's the key. That's the key. And then the bigger projects, we just wrapped and put up Metal Crush, which dominated. I'm sorry, Rebelistic, which dominated a lot of. For 6 months, Mike, I was consumed by that. But at the same time, I did a bunch of other things. Somebody asked me to do something, I would do it. I continue to speak. And I continue to have those speeches recorded and put those up. And you just continue to create. Every morning, you guys know, I think I get on Facebook Live and I just talk about what's happening, try to give people advice on this, that, or the other based on the movies and based on the platform we're launching. I put up just in the past 3-4 months, must have put up like 30 hours of new stuff that I just continue to create. Why do you do that? Well, because you got to keep going. You got to keep creating, keep producing. And while you're working on the big stuff that's going to give you your big payday, but also that's going to make you, that's where people are really going to understand the level of production that you can do.
Now, I had one other quick question for you, Henning, which is that you are doing this rev share films production and everything of that nature. Now, I had the privilege of having Sarah Fatima, who is a comedian, Iranian American comedian out of Los Angeles, and she's got like some palettes and some other things of that nature. So she's a TV producer, filmmaker to some degree as well. I think she's got some film projects that she's working on, as well as being a stand-up comedian. But how would somebody like her get into RevShare if they wanted to get into that platform? And how would she connect with you? Are you actually accepting other people's works within the RevShare model, or are you just dealing with the people in your team and things of that nature? So, like I said, Sarah is a up-and-coming comedian, and I know that she would probably be very interested.
Yeah, thank you for that, and thanks for the question. Right now we're in what's called a beta or a pre-launch phase. We're just about to put up a submission option for filmmakers and content creators, where they'll fill out a form. It's about to go up probably within the next week, 2 weeks, where they fill out a form, they upload samples of their stuff, and then somebody will, one of the team will look at it, curate it, make sure that it works for our platform, and then start to get it up. So that's going to happen here real soon. And you're going to see thousands of filmmakers, producers, content creators, comedians, actors, empowerment-oriented speakers, jump on in the same manner, and we'll bring on the content as we go. So really appreciate you guys again. Next week, we're going to do our discussion. Now that you all have your promo codes, you're all ready, the movie's up. Next week, we'll do the film discussion, but no spoilers, okay? So get your questions ready, but no spoilers, because we want to make it fresh for everyone.
Sure. Okay. Hey, Brandon, I got a question for you.
All right, guys.
Sure. Thank you, Henning. Thank you so much. Brandon, when and if this COVID crisis, the pandemic passes, what is the first country you want to visit?
That's a great. I would have to say Indonesia would be my first. That's where I was supposed to be for my birthday this year, so I was a little bummed to cancel that. So that's kind of my first destination to go to, is to head to Bali, month there, and enjoy this a little. I think that's going to be my first spot. After that, I don't know. My motto is, I haven't been everywhere, but it's a list. So it's always hard to pick a spot, but I think I would definitely head to Indonesia, to Bali first when this lifts.
That's really cool. I have never been, so tell me what it's like when you get there.
Well, you'll have to. Yes, you'll have to see.
Bali is like a global city, and it's a beautiful place. And I'm planning to go back again. I mean, and it's people of Bali think that they are not a part of Indonesia because it's different from what Indonesians are, and they have a
Gotcha. Okay. So I have to do a little bit of research then before I take my trip. I think that.
And I mean, you know that. I mean, it's very important to pick a right resort in Bali. Because if you don't,
I'm a big Airbnb person, and my Australian friends have picked out the Airbnb. They've assured me they've been. I have a lot of friends in Australia who.
It's about the right location because Bali Island is very big. So if you are in the right location at the right time, that would be something interesting.
Right. Yes. Yeah. I've been told Dinsbars is great for kind of the bigger city vibe, but the kind of further north you head, the more isolated you get. And I can't think of the name of the city where I had originally.
Kuta.
Is it like the hipster party area? Yeah. Yes. Okay. I think that's where the Airbnb was. They booked me. My Australian friends picked that one out. They get up to.
Oh, where did he go? There he goes.
Disappeared.
He disappeared and came back. Hey, Brandon, I don't know if you've ever seen the Bali art, but there was actually an art studio in Raleigh, North Carolina. It was a Bali gentleman that owned that art studio, and I was just totally impressed by the artwork that is created in that area of Bali. It's like a lot of folk art kind of stuff, but it's definitely very intense the way that the artwork is created and the way that they do it. So I was really impressed with a lot of their art. I mean, a lot of the art is definitely animal oriented. I remember a lot of animal kind of like figurines and things of that nature within the art, but definitely it was some very strong art. So I don't know if you've ever had a chance to see that. I was actually going to ask Jim where he wanted to go because I know I've got like a whole wish list because I've been to Turkey when I was a baby and I'm 58 now. So when I say a baby, I mean like an infant, and my dad was in the Air Force, so I did go to Turkey. And then recently with a friend, I went on a cruise, which carried me to Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, the Grand Turks, and I might be forgetting a place or two, but it wasn't that many places. I think it was about 3 or 4 places that we went, and that's been the extent of my foreign travel. So I've got friends from around the world, so there are places that I want to go visit. Like I got a buddy in Australia. I've got a couple of friends, including some that I met here now on our show that are from South Africa. And then I've got friends in places like Kenya that's on my wish list, friends from Brazil. So that's definitely on my wish list. So I've got an extensive wish list of places that I would like to travel, but it takes that money. And sometimes the money is the driving factor to not going on those trips, even before the pandemic. So I don't know, maybe the pandemic will drive some of the prices down because I've heard that they're offering all kinds of discounts to get people back into planes and stuff like that. So maybe this will be the opportunity for me to actually do more traveling because maybe the prices will be a lot lower than they have been.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing a lot of that. I just posted a video actually to my YouTube channel about some of the countries even that their tourism boards are offering discounted stays and all sorts of kind of relief packages for tourism. So I think you might see some deals coming up.
So other than Indonesia, is there any other places that you would like to go? And tell me a little bit about your YouTube channel, since everybody seems to have disappeared and it's just me and you right now. So until they come back, we'll do an interview among ourselves.
No, yeah. So I mean, I definitely have a big list of places that I would like to visit. My kind of style of creating content is all about making travel affordable. So when you talk about the expense of it, it's really interesting to step back from the perspective of how can I do it in a way that's not expensive? And I think especially now, if you're a little more flexible with travel, now that there's a worldwide pandemic, you can be a little more flexible with your destinations and where you go and when you go, you can really find some great deals. I always encourage people to, I'm not one of the who does the backpacking around Europe with the hostels. I need a nice Airbnb. I need a nice bed. I need a private room. Like I can't handle that. So you can still have luxurious travel, but do it in an affordable way. And so I always encourage people to kind of step back and think about when they're booking tickets, when they're booking vacation. What are they actually doing and where do they need to go? And one of my favorite tips to share with people is to not be afraid to change airlines and to change airports. If you want to fly to London, Well, if Spirit Air flight to Boston, you may have to go back through security, pick up your checked bag, recheck it, and go back. Leave yourself a long enough layover, and catch your own independent Norwegian flight or Air Portugal flight over. You may very well save $600-700 on that way. It's scary, of course, because if your flight's delayed, you have a little more risk. But if you can have that flex, you can really see some good deals that way. So flexibility, is kind of my big thing. That's my YouTube channel. It's about budget travel, how to see a city on a dime, and still feel like you're having a really luxurious tourist experience.
Yeah, because that's one of the things that I love doing is when I go places, I like to go to where the actual people live and not necessarily go to all the tourism spots, because sometimes the tourism spots are exactly that. They're overly touristic and things of that nature. I know I went recently, I think it was about maybe almost a year and a half ago to Nevada, Las Vegas for the first time. And I was there, and I didn't really do the strip because, like I said, I think if you go to Las Vegas, the strip is a little bit overly commercial and things of that nature. And I actually was visiting a friend from that area, so we went along a lot of the backside because she lives in that area and knows the area. So, like I said, I don't remember going to any of the strip sites at all. And maybe next time I'll see what the strip's all about. But this time it was more like actually getting the feel for Las Vegas and what the actual city is about. So I imagine that's a lot of what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I encourage people to see it. You go to the Eiffel Tower, take your picture. Don't spend the money to go up and wait in the line. Your whole day is done. Go see it, take your picture, but then walk along the river and find some of those interesting places. Find some of those great, hole in the wall food places. My favorite travel experience was in a small island south of Spain called Menorca, where I was a super budget vacation. I was trying to see how much I could stretch the dollar, and that vacation, or that trip, I should say, I ended up doing a lot of things that were totally wouldn't have gotten to do otherwise. I met a waiter at a restaurant, and we had a great conversation, and he was my Spanish, and he said, "A friend and I are going cliff diving tomorrow. You want to come?" And there we were, probably something a tourist would never get to see, this beautiful kind of hidden place on the island that was on his family's house, and you can kind of get those neat experiences by staying away from some of the touristy zones and going to the local restaurants, talking to the locals, talking to the hole in the wall, the waiters, the people there in the community.
Yep, I agree. So, Ankit, what's the most unique experience you've had traveling? You traveled most to the United States as well as, of course, in India and other parts of the world. So, Brandon was telling us his unique experience of the cliff and everything and some of the other things. What's the most unique experience you've had traveling?
So I have a lot of different travels in terms of business and in terms of vacation. And I have traveled and I have spent a good amount of money in traveling. And also, I also given that I will travel within $500 to some country. I have challenged myself, and then I did that as well, because sometimes that is also interesting, as Brandon said, that Airbnb and all those stuff. So I remember my last travel to Australia. I've traveled it twice, and that there I was there for 7 days just for doing a business experiment, that what we can do and all those stuff in Australia. So what I did is as Brandon knows that there are a lot of travel hacks. So my plan is to go to Hong Kong, but then I booked a ticket to Australia, and then the Hong Kong ticket is always free, because whenever you drive from Delhi to Australia, Hong Kong is the epicenter, and that's what I made my trip. So what I did is I flew from India, and then the flight takes around 2 hours. Stay at Hong Kong, but then I take a longer stay because I did a couple of meetings at the airport, and then I took a later flight to Australia, and then I reached out to Melbourne at around morning time, so that I've saved that night hotel as well. And then I did my work in Hong Kong as well, so that when I come back, that work is almost done, and then I'll be ready for the other work as well. And now when I reach there at around morning time, then what I did is basically I stayed at a lodge. I stayed at an Australian lodge, and then there are a lot of people. It's like Airbnb, but it's like in one room you have 2 people. Sometimes you have 4 as well, but they have different beds, and it's like a bunk bed kind of system basically. So and people are from around the world, and then they have a common canteen and all those stuff. So I stayed there. So mostly what people does is they come here to sleep at late nights, and they go back to work early morning. But I've realized that there are a lot of people living there in that lounge since months or years, basically, because they are from different countries. They come to Australia for work, and then to do the work, they are mostly doing the work, and then they come here to sleep, and that's it. And then you make a lot of friends as well during that trip. But what I did is that I stayed at the lodge, and then I booked a co-working space. So I usually start my day at around 8:30, so that I can go to the co-working space, and it's a beautiful place right in Melbourne at the main epicenter. And then I work there for like 10 hours or 12 hours, and then I come back and relax and maybe roam around in Australia, things like that, talk to friends and all this stuff. But that was something. What I did is I work in the morning time, and then I roam around in the evening time, and that was fun basically. And it was a good experience. So you have a travel as well as you worked as well. And likewise, the same thing I did it in Bali and other places. So it depends. On what kind of budget you have, and what is the mindset, and where do you want to go, and whom you want to travel, and are you going alone, and are you going with a lot of people. But solo travel is also interesting basically, because solo travel means that you are on your own, and then you don't have to take care of a lot of things, because whatever is in your head, you can enjoy it, and there is no itinerary you have to follow. It's just you and your bicycle, or maybe you rent a car or something, and then you just roam around. And
just free to go.
when I was there in Australia, before that, I drove from Sydney to Gold Coast, and that's around 10 to 12 hours drive. And that was amazing. So that drive was like we have covered all the Australia, because it's a long drive, and that was amazing. So there are different experiences while traveling, and then you just have to do you don't have to go what the itinerary and the travel people want you to do. You just take a side road and then enjoy the countryside. That is what we generally enjoy. We don't go for packages, or maybe go for a package and then that package person or a travel agent will take care of your things. So we generally look out for our own research, and then talk to the locals, and then grind it with them basically. That is what travel for us basically. It's not like that just staying at the top hotels and then just roaming around wherever they want. So it's not like that for me.
That's the best way to do it. You can have solo travel is the way to go, but it's the most fun is to challenge yourself and show up in a new country where you don't speak the language and say, I'm not going to book myself a place to stay tonight. I'm going to walk out of the airport and just start talking to people and figure out where do I stay. Sometimes you end up in a hotel, and sometimes you end up on a lovely grandmother's couch. You never know.
What I did is almost like I don't have the number, but I have stayed on in my car, rented car, and at the airport multiple times. So if I count days, so maybe till now it's been like 10, 12 days where I've stayed at either the airport whole night or at the rental car, just to see the experience basically. And that was before my marriage actually, not after the marriage.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, Brandon, just out of curiosity, I remember when a lot of folks, because I'm in my late 50s, I remember in the 80s and the 70s, a lot of folks used to go hitchhiking, enjoy hitchhiking. I had a friend that hitchhiked, I think, from Milwaukee to or Wisconsin to Alaska, because he wanted to participate in the Alaska pipeline. But then there was all those horror stories of people that had different things happen to them while they were hitchhiking that were not all that great. Sometimes it might have even cost them their lives, and that I think got people away from the kind of adventuristic spirit that you're saying is a great spirit to have. And I agree with you, it's a great spirit to have. But what kind of words do you give to people to encourage them when they're starting to think about those bad stories? Or, if any was here, we could even go to some movie references where people went hitchhiking or all those kind of like travels that you're talking about, and they didn't meet the grandma. They met the big bad wolf, or, the human version of the big bad wolf.
That's a great question. I mean, I think that the important thing to remember is that those are all just stories, and a lot of those challenges are unique to the country you're in. So, here in the States, we absolutely have almost fear of hitchhiking and of hitchhikers. And, you go to somewhere in Europe, you might be in Sweden or Norway, and people are hitchhiking left and right. It's common. It's something you do. And I think, it's about stepping outside of your comfort zone and thinking to yourself, well, how much do I trust myself? Was it scary to, call like my family and say, hey, I'm going to go cliff diving with a waiter from a restaurant I just met last night. If I don't call you in 24 hours, I'm probably at the bottom of the Mediterranean. Sure. But, you have to trust that not everyone's a big bad wolf, and you learn your judgment. Eventually you're going to get pickpocketed, eventually you're going to get mugged, but once you get mugged a couple times, you learn, especially in other countries or in big cities, you learn it's teenagers, it's teenagers and 20-year-olds who are, they don't want to kill for it. It's not something out of a bad movie. My friends that were very impressed when I came back from Spain one time, and we were in Brooklyn in Bay Ridge, and someone on the R train tried to take our mug us for our cell phones, and I just kind of stood there and was like, no, and use some choice words and said, yeah, back off, no, like, you're not today. We're getting off the next stop. I don't have time. And it was like, oh, this is some too. Yeah, absolutely. People can be scary, but you have to kind of be comfortable going, you know what? I can be an adult. I can handle myself, and I can put myself in uncomfortable situations. And be smart. Obviously, don't if locals tell you it's a bad area, or don't go to this place after dark. Follow their advice. But in the touristy areas, you're gonna have that's where you're gonna have the pickpocketing and the challenges there, to deal with. And
but for me, traveling is more about learning and learning new people and learning the culture, and also once you, so education is one thing, but exposure is something which I really believe in. And if you have good exposure, you learn a lot of things, and that also creates a lot of global connectivity. But you have to travel on a different road. It's not that you will be traveling on the mainstream. You have to pick for different experiences, and it's not always about big hotels or Airbnbs. Maybe sometimes you will live in a guest house or a lodge, or maybe some hostel or something like that. Then only you will be able to understand the people and the travel. And travel is not just about going to those monuments and going to the parks, because monuments and parks are everywhere. It's more about the culture and how they live, and how they're living in those countries, and what are the good habits and all those stuff. So that is what travel for me is, and nature is always added to that. And then there are a lot of man-made monuments, and there are a lot of monuments which is way older than that, and there's a lot of natural things as well. So it's a mix of a lot of things. But while traveling, food is something which is important. And I generally either, because I'm a vegetarian, I just have eggs and vegetarian. So I generally cook a lot of food while traveling as well, so that we are sure that we have enough appetite, and then only you can go around and travel. But a coffee is something which is very important while you're traveling, and that's what I believe in. So my first list is what are the best coffee places on those areas, so that I can go and I can mark that. That is very important for me.
You gotta have that right coffee. You're not trying to go to the coffee that I heard y'all earlier when you had me on the watch party. You're not trying to go to the Dunkin' Donuts. You're not trying to go places like that, because I heard that Nick was a big fan of Dunkin' Donuts. So I don't think Ankit's trying to go to the Dunkin' Donuts. I think he's trying to go to someplace a little bit more
interesting.
Interesting, right? More has a little bit more substance to it, and a little bit more style. When do you think, Brandon, we are actually going to travel again? Because that's what I've been wondering. And I'm talking about even like traveling around the states, because I know even like, I think you said you're in New York, and I know New York has banned a lot of folks from coming to their states, including, unfortunately, my state of North Carolina, just because our cases had spiked after y'all's cases had spiked. So I think Governor Cuomo had like a whole list of states that he was like, nope, don't want y'all, because y'all might be bringing that stuff back to us. So he put up a whole ban on there of several states. I know North Carolina was one, Florida was one, I think maybe Texas, California. I forget how many states. Y'all might be up to like 15 or 20 that y'all look like, nope, don't come here right now.
Yeah, well, I'm actually in one of the states. So I live in Florida, and I can tell you, being here, people are traveling now. Maybe not responsibly, but there's tourists. The hotels are sold out. The bars are full. Beaches are full. Disneyland just opened, or Disney World, I guess, is the open, I think, yesterday, and it was packed. People flock. So people are traveling now. I think a responsible traveler is going to wait until there's a significantly lower, of spread. And I think that we're going to kind of get the rough side of the stick as Americans, because we have such a large outbreak, and we haven't really taken any steps to control it. The EU is now taking steps to not allow Americans in for rolling 90-day basis, maybe an indeterminate period of time. We don't really know yet. And a lot of other countries are following suit. So I think you're going to see domestic travel spike first when things start to kind of calm down. Hopefully in a year or two when we have a vaccine, but I think you'll definitely see domestic travel will be huge. You'll see a rebirth of the American road, that kind of Route 66 vibe, and that's going to be a big market for a good 5 years after this pandemic, before people really can start traveling internationally. Not only with some of the restrictions with the EU, other countries saying, we don't maybe know that we want Americans in until it's a little more under control, but also financially. You've got millions of people that have lost work. So how many people can afford their 2-week European vacation? So, I guess people are traveling now, to answer your question, but responsibly, I think we're going to be at least a year.
Yeah, I think you're about a year right, because I work at a theater, so African American theater that I've done some work at, but I also am on the board of the Carolina Theater, and I know that they're even talking about like having reduced capacity even for those theaters. Like I said, I think the small theater, the African American theater, which seats about 375, 400, is not planned to open at all this year. At least that's the last plans that I heard. And the Carolina Theater might open for showing some movies and doing some streaming kind of events, because that's a limited audience. I know that even when they're thinking about like showing the movies, the 1,000-seater I think was going to hold like 148, which is a big drastic amount of less folks being in there because of the ways that they want to do the separation of people and things of that nature. So, and I think that if that happens, that'll be in another month or two. And I had heard that, of course, I know Broadway in New York has called off all of 2020, and several of the concert people have called off their concerts. I'm actually thinking kind of like you're thinking, that people are going to go into the bigger spaces before we even see any venues opening up. So like the amphitheaters, they might open up eventually, because you can space people out in a lot of those big amphitheaters. And definitely I'm thinking like some of the big coliseums that host football teams and stuff like that might open up, because you can do the correct kind of spacing that they want to do and things of that nature. So I'm thinking that those kind of spaces will open. And I've heard that like even out of the I wish Alexandria was here, because she would be able to tell more than I can, being a fan of country music. But I hear that like even the country musicians have started renting out drive-in theaters, because they know that they can do some of that space, and because they do their shows, but instead of doing it in a theater performance space, they're doing it in the drive-in theater. So I've heard that that's kind of like bringing back, you're talking about the American road trip, they're bringing back one of the old highlights of the American road trip.
I think the good news, though, for small theaters like that is your royalties are going to go away. You need to rent an MTI musical or whatever, going from 1,000-seat theater to 138. I guess there's some budget there. That's it'll be interesting to see what happens. At the Opera House in Barcelona actually reopened a few weeks ago, playing to plants. They have their musicians on the stage, and the entire opera house, this beautiful, huge historic opera house, is just full of plants, greenery, succulents, trees, flowers, and they play, and that's what they stream it, but they play to a room full of plants. So I think you're going to see a lot of interesting things in the next year.
And the plants might be quite happy. I remember earlier in the day being a fan of science and things of that nature. They talked about like even farmers and other people would play music to the plants to help the plants with harvest and things of that nature. So maybe that's what we need to do. We need to just have the farmers bring all of their plants to that particular concert house, plant there, and then they can just grow the whole crop there, and then we can boost our crops as well. So this could be a new model for doing farming.
There you go. I think that sounds like a plan. I don't know why they did. I don't know if they did it for like acoustics, so when they streamed, Ross was full of something, or if it was a PR stunt. Yeah, super interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens to theaters. Most of my background is entertainment, so it'd be really interesting to see what happens to the performing artists and the crews and that whole environment. It would be hopefully all the smaller theaters, the summer stocks and the community theaters are able to survive for as long as they need to. Hopefully we don't lose many of them.
Yeah, hopefully so. When do you think your next performance will be yourself? Because it sounds like you're a performer. So when do you think your next performance will be?
Maybe I'm retired now. I don't know. That is hard. That's a hard thing to say. Hopefully, in 5 years and things start to kind of get back on track. hopefully it'll kind of get back together a little bit. But I'm just kind of focused on figuring out what to do, how to run a travel. There is no travel. How to build a travel brand when you're no longer taking flights and going places. So that's kind of my big focus for the next year is what kind of content to make in the meantime.
And along those lines, if somebody was listening to us right now, what would be your number one advice? You gave some of it, but what would be like your 5 tips to give to travelers in a pandemic? So if you're going to tell folks that they want to travel now, what is your 5 pieces of advice that you would give them as to how to travel in a pandemic?
Well, I would stick to the common talking point: wear a mask, hands frequently, stay away from large crowds, and be respectful of other countries' healthcare systems. You have to remember, I have my Spanish permanent residency card. I've paid taxes in Spain, but if I'm there and I get sick, I'm taxing their healthcare system for their citizens. So as a responsible traveler, you want to avoid all those things. So being able to, if you're going to travel, don't go far from home. Wear your mask, wash your hands, and avoid large crowds. Stay outside. We think now that the virus dissipates faster outdoors. So I think those would be my top tips. One is, I think wait is probably my first tip. Wait to travel for a little while, but if you have to travel, wear your mask, wash your hands, and avoid large crowds.
And Brandon, tomorrow we have a travel show with Vivian, and she'll be showcasing one of the cities in China. So if you would like to join, you can join us at around 12 noon EST. And today we had to showcase your travel thing, but because there are a lot of guests and a lot of things going around, so we couldn't do that. So if you have time, you can join us on Thursday. We can redo the things on Thursday. And also, travel is something which everyone around the world would like to do. It's not that only some people do traveling, it's around the world. So travel for everyone is something like that. And I'm very much keen and interested to do something on travel. And we have done a lot of travel portals as well. One of our portals is Attractions of America, where we have a lot of attractions around the world. And we are working on a lot of different portals like that. And also I'm working on an app where there are some prerequisites for a traveler basically. It's not for booking hotels, but it's a lot of other things apart from travel. So travel is not just about booking hotels or booking tickets. It's a lot of other things as well. So that is what we are talking about in that. So if you're interested, we can talk about that as well on our show on IBM TV, and we can collaborate and put up a app through IBM so that we'll have more attraction to that. So there are a lot of things can be discussed on travel, but it all depends how much time you have for us on IBM TV, so that we can carry the show and do a lot of attractions on that as well. And that is what I have to say right now. And it's time to wrap up. If you want to say something before that, please do, or else we'll wrap up the show.
Sounds good. Well, yeah, no, I definitely look forward to talking travel a little bit more with you guys and the audience, and hopefully we'll be able to create some awesome things.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to learning about some more things about travel. Like I said, that's definitely been on my wish list and everything. Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. On your YouTube, for folks that are listening to us right now, what is that YouTube channel that you've got so that they can subscribe to it, and also things of that nature?
Oh, thank you for the plug. So the best way to find me is to go to thebrandonscott.com, and you can find links to all my social media, all my blog posts, my YouTube channel, anything you want to find me on. So thebrandonscott.com, and all the links are there.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and subscribe to that as well. So I'll be joining your subscription. Hopefully you'll subscribe to mine as well, which is Mr. Blues Radio on YouTube. But I also have a variety of programs here, as I do my usual Monday evening one, but then I do some specials during the course of the week. I think I've got one on Saturday planned right now with some people that I'm talking to. But then my regular one that I did last week, I had Sarah, that comedian that I was talking about. She was on, and her family originally from Iran. Now she was went to school in Ohio, and then she moved to Los Angeles. So she had cultural shock galore in her life. So she talked a little bit about that. And then I had Stella Adams on, who is a activist in housing and civil rights here in North Carolina. So that was a great conversation that we had, and hopefully you'll get a chance to go back and hear that one. And I'm already looking at some other ones coming up with some comedians, activists, creatives, and folks of that nature. So definitely looking forward to that. So I'll subscribe to yours. You subscribe to mine.
Sounds good. I can't wait to check it out.
Wonderful. And it's time to wrap up. And thank you for joining us on Celeb Tuesday on IBM TV. We are doing a show right now with Jmade, Chess Without Borders. So if anyone wants to plug into IBM TV website, or they can watch it on YouTube as well. The show is running right now with Jmade, Chess Without Borders, and we have amazing guests lined up. And do join us tomorrow on Startup Wednesday, 15 July. And thank you. And thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Mark. It's time to wrap up. Before we wrap up, I'll just play the social measure message. Here we go.
कोरोना वायरस से कैसे बचेंगे? हैंड और ऐसे अपने खांसी जब आएगी तो ऐसे करेंगे अच्छू अच्छू और कोरोना वायरस को धन्यवाद हमारा म्यूजिक सुनने का.
And that's the wrap for the day. And thank you for joining us. Take care. Bye-bye.